Hi, welcome to another edition of Commercials I Hate.
Hello, nurse. Hello.
Good day. Good day. The microphone works. We love to see it. The captions work. Or hear it? I don't know. The captions work and appear to be reasonably accurate. Good. Okay. Be right there.
Hello.
Okay, let's do, hold on, where's the button? Swear to God, I've only done this 461 times. You can forgive me if I can't find the button to figure out how to turn the stream on. Oh, cool. That's interesting. That camera's frozen. That's weird. Let's try a different one. Well, so there I was. One sec. Doop, doo doo doop, doop, doo doo doop, doop. Yeah, I look pissed. That is my resting bitch face. Let's try. Hold on. Let me try something here. Why is this not? Why? What happened? At least I'm not doing anything ridiculous. It froze. That's a screen grab from like before. That's a screen grab from a while ago. Good Lord. Yeah, turn it off and on again. Well, this one works. It's just that this one appears unhappy. All right, let's go into, hold on. While we're figuring this out. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna talk through it like this. This seems reasonable, right? Yeah, this is an all overhead ASMR only stream. One sec. I gotta get into the studio mode here and get all the way down to where my camera is. Frame. Let's see. Audio? No. Main. Elgato. Facecam Pro. Sources. Turn off. Deactivate. Reactivate. Hello. Okay. It works. You're wearing a towel. A towel. Lemon, I just took a shower. I didn't even have a shirt on until 10 minutes ago. So that screen grab could have been bad. I didn't look at it before starting stream. That could have been really bad. Anyway, I was not that the camera was upstairs where my shower is. Anyway, let me say hi, and we'll get to the bottom. So Fluff, hello, good day. Sarah, welcome in. Not in Getty, hello, welcome. Welcome. Dan, good to see you. Welcome in. Shayna, good morning. Good morning. Cyborg K Chop, checking in. Good morning. Good to see you. It is a nice early morning stream. It's still morning for me. It's 11:30 a.m. It is a weird time for me to be streaming, both on a Wednesday and at 11 o'clock in the morning. But I wanted to stream today. I had stuff to do, and I cannot stream tomorrow, which is my usual day, nor can I stream on Friday. It's a half day for all of the Philadelphia School District schools. Today is the last full day of school. Huh. Okay. Yeah, Lemon, I had a moment when I put the main camera on there and it was frozen, where I didn't realize. I was like, wait, is that mug still? I was like, I thought that mug was in the dishwasher. So that screen grab was from about 10 minutes ago. I think that screen grab was probably from the moment that I hit go live. That's what I look like when I hit go live, just angry. What are you mad at, Stuart? The world. We're gonna make some things in the kitchen today. Just some like general projects. I realized I was and I didn't realize I still am gonna make some type of treat today. I'm not gonna make the garlic cookies because I did not in a shock to nobody, I did not complete that write-up last night. I, in fact, didn't do anything last night. I jumped off of stream. I ate dinner. I went up and listened into the Food and Drink Club Discord Q&A for an hour, and then I packaged cookies in boxes. I went to the post office this morning, and both Lisas are at a graduation party, and the post office was closed. So, not graduation party. They're both at some sort of graduation. So, I will mail the cookies tomorrow morning. They are packaged. However, because of the lack of staffing at the post office, there's no one to work there today. So, we're going to mail them tomorrow. They're ready. Dr. Hex Mikey, welcome in. Hey, Dr. Hex Mikey, that's 100 check-ins. Here's some confetti for you. Are you ready for it? Congratulations. That is a Cookie Club entry with my thanks. Missed the first half of the latter Q&A. I think it got most of the info. I think so too. I think they did a good job just generally kind of explaining everything. There was a lot of server information that I didn't know. Like, I don't know how to use it. What's a server? I don't know how to do this. I thought that it was interesting. I was the whole sponsorship thing. I was interested in that line of conversation, mainly because I'd like to do outreach to like a bunch of places and be like, hey, do you want to send a bunch of food streamers product? Yes, indeed. Today I was thinking of making cookies. I'm not going to make cookies. What I am going to do is I realized that I have a bunch of things in the fridge that I'm kind of not going to use. So one, that something needs to happen with those because I don't want to put them in the compost. And two, yesterday I moved on to my second freezer bag for stock. And so I was like, hey, I got all this stuff in the fridge. We're going to make two things that go in the freezer for later. One is some pesto, because I have a bunch of basil that I bought this week that I am not going to use, or that I used, but I didn't need all of it. I have a little bit more basil in the fridge. I have some herbs that are just about to go bad. I have garlic scapes that I didn't use. And then I'm also going to make So I'm gonna make stock, pesto, and this corn salad that I've been working on. That's really good, so that I can just use the stuff in the crisper drawer. The whole goal today is just like use up all the vegetables in the drawer in a way that I can then put them like into storage for later use. So stock and pesto primarily. I'm thinking I'm gonna make a snack today too. I was thinking of making this full, as they're called, foolproof shoe pastries. I understand that there was a food and, I understand that there was like a food and drink monthly like cooking challenge recently that included shoe pastry. I am a week late, I suppose, or multiple weeks late, / am just participating in absentia, I guess. Have I joined? No, but smoking and grilling. Well, maybe we'll smoke a little bit and then make some food. I'm just kidding. We're not going to do that. It's 11:30 and it's illegal in Pennsylvania, so we don't do that. Not on stream. Not on stream, and not before stream, because otherwise then I would just get super anxious about it. Master Splits, welcome in. Welcome in. Drew, what's going on? Good to see you. Hey Drew, I meant to pick up some stuff for you at the post office this morning. I went to the post office and both Lisas were at some graduation and they were closed. So they'll be open tomorrow morning as planned. And I will be there tomorrow morning, both dropping off cookies and picking up packages. My friend Drew has things sent to the PO box every so often, and you can, and I pick them up. Okay, so what are we actually doing today? We're going to hold on a sec. Can I do something? How do I do this? I can't do it. Okay. We'll try it later. All right, so order of operations today. I'm gonna get the stock in first. I'm gonna do the stock and then the pesto, and I'll just add to the stock as I cut up the other vegetables. That's the good one. That's I think how we're gonna do it. Can you recommend a good sleeping pad for camping? I just saw one the other day that I bookmarked. I didn't bookmark it. I meant to bookmark it. I saw one on the REI website. I love, Cyborg says Xped. Good recommendation. I'm not familiar. I haven't bought a sleeping pad in a long time, and the ones that I use are those foam, the horrible foam ones. I would always recommend a sleeping bag that doesn't need, that has, the one that I saw had a, it was inflatable and it had foam on the inside, which I love. I love the ones that have the foam because I feel like the foam just structurally keeps the thing nice. But I love that it had a pump, like a hand pump that came along with it, because my big problem with all the ones that are inflatable is you need something to inflate them with, and I don't like that they deflate after you use them. I don't like that some sleeping pads like deflate overnight, or they start deflating overnight. So I'm kind of torn. That's why I have the foam ones, because I don't want to worry about pumping or inflation or any of that other crap. Master Split says, is it possible to make a Philly cheesesteak flavored stock? I think a Philly cheesesteak flavored stock, yeah, would probably have We probably have a ton of onions and like beef bones, and then I would put a bunch of like Parmesan rinds in it. That way you've got like all of the flavors in there. That would be my suggestion. Inflation, right? Yeah, we don't like inflation in any capacity. Cyborg says the X-Peds are a combo of closed cell foam and inflation and comes with a pump. Maybe we started all right. That actually, yeah, it sounds a lot like it, because that, I was like, oh, this is good because it's just like, it's like a small pump. And you, it's a small pump and it's like a dual valve thing. I don't know. Oh, beef bones, onions, and parm rinds. I literally didn't read that before saying it, but yeah. So Master Splits comes in to chat regularly and says that and asks to like cheesesteakify a dish. So Drew is also probably very capable of the cheesesteak ideation. Carly, welcome. 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 All right, stock. I'm going to do first, like I said. So stock is, I keep all this stuff in the freezer. So like, if you've been hanging out recently, I've been filling up these, you know, this bag with a bunch of frozen crap. Right now, it's mostly corn. Yeah, mostly corn cobs in there. We're going to add some more corn cobs to that. And as we go on today, and then the leavings of all the stuff that I've got for the pesto and the corn salad today are going to both go in here. All go in here. Drink more, cook less. Robbie, welcome in. Good to see you. Good to see you. Carly, you have a similar bag. It's something I always I don't always forget, but I go through phases where I will like be saving stock stuff very regularly, and I go through phases where I just forget, and then I don't save it, and it ends up in the compost bucket. And every once in a while, I'm like, why is my compost so full all the time now? And then I'm like, right, because I keep not saving the stock things that I want to. So let's fill this pot. We're gonna just fill this right up, and as the afternoon kind of carries on, we're gonna do more corn cobs in here. I'll put my all the pesto scraps in here, and I'm just gonna let that simmer for a while. I'm not gonna time it. There's no recipe. It's just gonna heat up and simmer, and then we'll be ready to go. At some point I will drain it this afternoon, maybe, hopefully, and freeze it in pint containers. Alrighty, so this is good. All right, I'm gonna pop this on the stove. There's a lot of water in there, so that's going to simmer for hopefully a while. And it will, it's a little bit, you can see the stuff's like a little bit over the top at the moment. It will, it'll settle in as everything kind of gets saturated and softer. It kind of just like squishes down. Carly says, you decided to do radishes in my garden and grew far more than I had any taste for, so it'd be a very radishy stock. That's fun. I have, that's kind of the move with stock. Like, we were talking the other day in, there was a thread in Discord about making stock, and like someone asked, like, do you have a recipe for stock? And I'm like, no, like I don't, unless I was actually making like French onion soup or something that needed a specific stock for, you know, with only a few things in it or something like that. I would not really, I don't have a recipe for it. It just, whatever is in the bag in the fridge. Sometimes it's like spicy. Sometimes it's like really kind of tilted in one direction. Like this one's going to be really probably fairly corn heavy because I've had a lot of corn recently and there's cobs in there. So, can you go over what you include in a stock bag in terms of scraps? Yeah. The only things that I don't put in a stock bag generally are, let's see, broccoli. Broccoli florets don't always work. Mostly it's scraps from herbs, fresh herbs, any type of onion, shallot, garlic, aromatic, anything like that goes in. Corn cobs, any type of vegetable scrap. Like I wouldn't put in, I say vegetable scrap, like the corn cobs go in, but not the corn husk. Fennel goes in there. I don't love asparagus. Like I don't usually put asparagus in there for the same reason I don't put broccoli in there. It just makes a weird, it makes it very off-putting flavor-wise. But I would put tomatoes in there. Basically like any vegetable or scrap that comes out. Like this one has pea pods in it. I would probably not put things like cucumbers in there. What else would I not put in there? Butternut squash scraps, Carly says. Yeah, I would definitely put those in there. I think, what other things would I not put? Like this one. This one I'm going to add some separate stuff to. Like I have a thing of celery in here that I haven't. Celery lasts for a long time, so I'm not like freaking out about doing things with the celery today. Like I am with the herbs and stuff that are in there, but like I'm going to add some celery pieces to this. I'm going to add probably some onion from the cabinet. I do usually, if I'm making stock, I will usually add at least one like additional. I'll add like an onion, like a cut up onion, not from the scrap bag. I'll add some celery if I have it. I'll add, some sort of base level of flavor, base level of stuff to it. And that's, yeah, I'm just going to do that now too. And I'm going to add to this kind of as it goes on today. This is where I wish I had an even larger pot. I do have an even larger pot. I wonder if it's worth getting that larger pot out, because that one is very full. Maybe. Drew says I generally avoid peppers. Yes. Yeah. Bell peppers. Bell peppers also give that same sort of like, they make it tangy, for lack of a better term. Vegetal. I think that's a good, vegetal is a good description. Like I want veggie stock, but I don't want it to be like a bell pepper stock. I would put peppers in there, but if there was like mostly bell peppers, for example, in my stock bag, I'd probably augment it with some other things. As I'm standing here, I'm like, I should get that larger pot, because this one I'm gonna be adding to it. I'm gonna be adding more corn cobs to it, and it's not. They're not gonna cook down that much. So let me grab that actually while this is still a little bit cool, and I can just like dump it in real quick. So like, hold on a second, because I know where it is. Okay. We've acquired the largest pot I own. Only slightly larger than the one on the stove. I'm just gonna, is this hot yet? No. Is the water hot? No. Okay, just the one handle is hot. We can deal with that. Alley-oop. Hold on. Watch as I make an absolute fucking mess. Here we go. Ready? Perfect. Fellas, welcome in. Hello and good day. Or good morning, I should say. Okay, we got it. Now, what a difference that makes. Yeah, now I'm gonna add a bunch more water to this. And now I'm just gonna like toss stuff in here with impunity. I have, I should just, yeah, this is going to be the new stock pot because every time I make stock, I'm like, oh man, it needs to have, I need more room in my pot. Oh, now we're not limited. Mer, welcome in. Good morning or good day. Hello, happy Wednesday. Thank you for the shout out, Soflip. Appreciate it. Fellow food and drink streamer, Mer Bakes. Charcoal Dragon, welcome in. Good day. And I need the sound drop from. You know how you say things sometimes, and you're like, it just relates to like a movie. It doesn't happen very often for me, but actually it does. But it's always like a very small subset of movies. But that definitely just happened. I had a moment of hearing forget the guy's name, forget the actor's name from the Big Lebowski say something, say hello. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Barramundi fish, white asparagus. Ooh, white asparagus is fun. Not often the often unencountered white asparagus. Jeff Bridges. No, the other guy. The other guy, the one that wasn't Steve Buscemi. I forget his name. Because whatever. But the part where they go into the room, John Goodman, there it is. The part where they go into the room with the guy with the iron lung who wrote a bunch of episodes of some show, and he's like, "And a fine day to you, sir." Anyway, I want that as a sound drop. I don't know why. I know why, because I like the movie. Anyway, let's do. Hold on. What we got? Gwen is asking me, am I able to check to see if Calvin's karate uniform needs to be washed? Yeah. Yes. Hold on. I can check on that. Is Calvin's karate uniform here? Does it need to be washed? No, it does not. It is right here. Okay. See, I have to, okay, here we go. Wrinkled, but ready. There we go. Gwen is at work today, so I'm getting texts. Stock is on the stove, celery's in there. Before I forget, I'm gonna add some pepper, just some like peppercorns to the stock. No, I'm not measuring them, I'm just adding them. And a couple bay leaves. I'm also gonna cut up some onion. I think I have some onion in here that I'm not going to use. Yeah, I got some onion. Oh, this one's big and looks like it's about to not be good anymore. We'll add that. So we're going to add some onion in here. So I decided kind of today, the things that I'm making today are really to clear out the fridge and clear out some stuff that I've just had kind of kicking around for a while. Because I have, what are we doing? I'm not cooking again, so I'm not cooking tonight. I am probably not going to cook tomorrow or Friday. And then Saturday is farmer's market day. So I'll be on the hunt for like more stuff on Saturday. So today we are going to use as much as I can out of the crisper drawer to make some stuff for the future, stock and pesto primarily. So I'm adding some onion. I'm gonna add these onions in here. These onions, oh, this one's got a big old soft spot. Let's see. We any good? How are we doing? That's not half as good. Maybe? No. Oh, that does not smell great. Okay, this quarter looks good. Cool. What else do I want to add to that? Anything else? Salt. Add some salt right at the jump. It's going to add a bit of kosher salt here. Not a ton, just like a little bit. And then my salt container needs filling from yesterday. So let's do that too. And now I'm out of salt. Cool. Okay. So pesto's on the stove, and we're going to just kind of let that, not pesto. Pesto doesn't go on the stove. I guess it could. Do you cook pesto? Is there a cooked version of pesto? I know you cook it with pasta or whatever, but is there a version of pesto that you cook first? Let's do the... what do we do next? I'm gonna do the corn salad next. Corn salad is something. It's like a really quick little recipe I wrote that does not require any cooking. So I'm just gonna make it and then put that like in the refrigerator for later. I'm out this evening, so I don't know what Gwen and Calvin are doing for dinner. I didn't plan anything for them, so perhaps this corn salad can contribute to that dinner. Who knows? If not, I'll eat it because it's good. I'll eat it later. Let me give this a stir, though. Let me just give this stock a stir before we start that. I just looked into the pot and all the salt that I put in there was just sitting on top. So, yeah, you're gonna stir that stuff in. Same thing with the bay leaves. Okay. Maybe we could just put the stock on the camera. That way, it's available for visualization. Mentioned the corn earlier. We're not using the corn kernels, or not using the corn husks for stock. That's not something I would put in there. Do you use the corn husks? Is there a dish that uses corn husk? I don't think so. I'm not familiar with any. But that doesn't mean there aren't. Tamales. Right. You wrap them in that, right? I guess I'm thinking, like, you wrap them in that to cook. There's no dish where you eat them, though. They're not, like... There's no edible version recipe with corn husk, right? Tamales are wrapped in corn husks. Jeez, hello. They are. I'm thinking. I guess I was thinking like eating them, but yes, tamales for sure. All right, those look good. So we're gonna give these a little brush off here. Get the silk out. When I cut the kernels off, we'll more silk will come out of here. So you don't need to be too scrupulous about it in this part. It's there's always going to be corn silk. Velo says the web says corn husks are too fibrous and difficult for human digestive systems to break down. Yes, I feel like that seems accurate to me. Yeah, I don't know what you would. I feel like if there was a dish that wasn't outside of tamales, if there was a dish for corn husks, I feel like I would have heard about it because it would be because I love corn and I probably would have encountered it at some point looking up various corn recipes. So this is pretty straightforward. And I'm just going to add all of my corn cobs directly to the stock pot. That's the nice part. We started with the stock today so that I could just add all the scraps from anything I'm doing to that. That's the secret to efficiency. Is it? I don't know. That's probably not the only thing. Who the Hio? I am most likely not saying your name correctly, but welcome in. Corn is a favorite. Corn is probably my favorite vegetable of all of the vegetables that I could have as favorites. I know it's probably pretty basic, but hello. All right. So this corn salad I'm making was one that I've just finished. I wrote the recipe for it, but I didn't make it on stream, or I didn't like work on it on stream because it was because I did it on like a weekend, a nice like quiet weekend day, afternoon actually, and it was just like really easy. It's it's a no-cook recipe, and it was an easy one. But I'm making it per my own instructions at the moment, starting with 3 years of corn. And I'm gonna give this a little stir with a spoon here to break the kernels up, and I'm just grabbing any little. The purpose of this is not to break the kernels up. The purpose of this is to get any little extra silk that I missed with the brush. It's like after you let your kid brush their own teeth and then you like check their teeth. That's what's happening here. Okay, so that looks good. Shallot. We need a shallot. Just one. Again, the scraps of this go right in the pot, which is fun. I love stock days. Thank you. Welcome in, Timothy Shallot May. he is very svelte, like a shallot. If I'm thinking of the right person, he's the one in Dune, right? Okay, fine diced, chopped fine. Pick your descriptor. Shallot. Hello. Hello. Beer, welcome in. Lisan Al-Gaib. Oh, he's the new Wonka. That's wild. Cincy J. Mac, welcome. Beer, good to see you. Dang it sharp, hello. Hozier, welcome in. Good afternoon to you. Friend of the stream, fellow food and drink streamer, Beer Not Babies, across the sea and in the future, raiding into the past where it is exactly 12:08 p.m. Welcome in, y'all. It's good to have you. Thank you for bringing friends. Mrs. Kenny Tengu, welcome. I'm waving from the future. I am waving from the past, where it is still the afternoon though. So at least we made it. We're in the same time of day. Briefly. We streaming. You were streaming. You were cooking today. I think I very briefly saw some of stream as I was getting set up. Kathy, welcome in. Alan and Bill the Duck says, I just finished reading Dune for the first time. So now I understand what a Lisan Al-Gaib is. Yes, I know Dune. It's the pop culture. It's the pop culture parts that I don't understand as much. Well, welcome in, y'all. It's nice to have you. Friends who are hanging out with us, Beer Not Babies, again, fellow food and drink streamer, variety streamer as well, also does gaming. And a good follow. If you were hanging out here, right, at this time of day, then you are the right audience to go hang out with Beer, because, as I mentioned, she's earlier in the day, she's from the future. So if you're online at this time of day looking at food stuff, you would be wise to go follow. Wolf the Thembo, welcome. Beer is a legend. No, I agree. I have been impressed with Beer's consistency in the kitchen, and just like, yup, we're cooking. Like it's sort of, I love that sort of like, this is, you know, how do I put it? Like, you're not trying to be, like, you're just consistently hanging out and cooking, and like, it's the same type of thing that I enjoy about like this stream. It's just like, I'm at home, I'm cooking some food that I want to cook or something I'm interested in, and good conversation. Like, it's not flashy and there's no like wild stuff happening. Like, Disney yelling, there's an occasional bursts of activity, but you know what I mean. It's a nice vibe. Friends who joined us, it's nice to have you. My name's Lou. This is a food stream today, and most of the time. We also do IRL streams. Probably about every fourth stream is an IRL stream at this point. I generally am making vegetable forward family meals for myself, my partner, and our son. Today I'm doing a variety of different things. We have a stock going on the stove. What you're seeing here is in this pot here. There's a little camera. We're making stock, we're making pesto. We're going to make a corn salad, which I'm kind of in the process of making. And we're also ideally going to make some type of treat. I think I'm going to do a choux pastry. I have a recipe that I really love that's super easy. And I have 2 quarts of strawberries in the fridge, so they kind of gotta get eaten. So you made cheeseburger and sweet potato bowls. Ooh, that is super savory. Did you put the, I guess my first imagination was like baked, like sweet potato baked and like split open, filled with like burger stuff. But that may be not the most accurate to what you were doing. Feels like sat across from a stool hanging out. You know what's great, Beer? That is literally the vibe that I wanted to have. So if you were to look, right? So here, hold on. Just indulge me for a second. So this is the setup, right? So like here I am. Hello. This is like a counter, right? And so there's seats here. There are seats. Hold on. Real hard to see when it's in that inset. They're like, this is it. Hey, look, there's you guys. There's y'all. But there are literally seats at this counter. And the whole thing that I wanted to do was basically like, come hang out. You know, come hang out. I started streaming because my partner was like, I was like, come sit with me at the counter while I make dinner. And she was like, no, I'm not doing that every day. I want to go play Fortnite, put my headphones on after school, work. And I was like, hey, that's fair, you know, obviously. And she was like, you should talk to friends. You should make friends on the internet. So like, hi, here we are. Fanatic says, let's do an IRL camp cooking stream. I did one that turned out really well. And I would definitely like to do another one. And if Drew, if you'd like to go, you can, it would be nice to have company too. My husband is the same way. Yeah. She was just like, you know, I'm cooking because I was cooking dinner forever, right? Like long before streaming, I've been doing the same shit for a long time, well before starting to stream. And I was always like, you know, badgering her to be at the counter and come hang out. Come sit with me. Come talk to me. You know? And she's like, no, not a chance. And so that was when she was like, hey, you should just stream on Twitch. And I was like, but I don't game. And she was like, but you don't have to. And I was like, but what do you mean? And then a couple months later, I started streaming after I like watched a couple people and was like, oh, cool. I could do that. I think I could do that. Drew, later this month. It would be, oh God. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the shit show that stream might be? Oh, Drew, you want to know something funny though? Chat knows about the Uber and the the riding home from the camping trip. It's come up a bunch of times. And oh my God, do I love telling that story. It's one of my favorite stories. Drew was there. Drew was on that camping trip with me when our friend could not handle the heat night one and took an Uber home from the campsite. It was phenomenal. Kathy, we went on a hike, we did some cooking. You know what's funny? That beef stew that I made, we had it for dinner on Monday. That like the same, just beef stew from that trip. Had it on Monday. I'm supposed to add Parmesan to this. Do I even have that shit? There it is. Yes, I do. And it's already pre-grated. Hell yeah. Another reason I don't cook, Charcoal Dragon says, no one hangs out. If you cook day after day and you're just like hanging out in your home kitchen, it is nice to have some company every once in a while, you know? And so for me, that's definitely why I started streaming, was just like, I enjoy this time. I'm going to spend like 3 or 4 hours doing this anyway. Why not invite other people to hang out? Like, hey, I have to cook dinner anyway. Exactly, beer. So why not stream it? And I didn't know either. I had no idea. You know, I didn't know people were cooking on the internet. All I knew there was like YouTube and like videos of cooking, but I didn't know there was anything live. The live aspect, I had no idea. Yeah, Drew, chat does know about that. We've talked extensively. I've told that story several times. And it's never not funny. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, let's see. We have shallot, olive oil, 3 teaspoons of olive oil. One. Basically, this recipe is like 1 teaspoon of olive oil per ear of corn. I guess I didn't realize that, but that is the case. He is giving it another try through. I hope. I mean, to be fair to Jesse, it was the hottest weekend of the entire year. So, like, not that I always want to be fair, you know, because it's really fun to like give someone shit, especially when they're like a notorious shit giver of their own. When you can get one up on them, it's like, yeah, I got you. But yeah, it was the hottest weekend of the year. I understand why he left. I am not going to relent on mocking him for it, though. Because that's what friends are for. Okay, corn salad looks good. We got corn, we got basil, we got Parmesan, we got shallot, olive oil, salt, and pepper. Super easy. The shallot in this is actually like kind of optional too. You don't really need it if you don't love it. You could also use red pepper. But basically, you just kind of like let this, you mix it. Not a lot of oil in here. I tend to go overboard and like make things greasy sometimes, and I don't love that. So I try to be conservative with how much olive oil is actually in use here. But this is it. It's just a raw corn salad, and it's pretty much ready, you know, pretty much ready. Beer, thanks for bringing friends through. I appreciate it. If you were hanging out here prior to the raid, please go follow Beer Not Babies. Despite me being a sober parent, I feel a lot of kinship. And I think that if you were hanging out here, you would love Beer's stream if you haven't been there. And thank you for the lurk. As generally, I am thankful for lurkers all the time. And that said, if you came in with the raid and you were a lurker and you're hanging out and you're like, maybe I could follow, but I don't want to be like perceived. There's no follow alerts. There's no sounds. There's no, like, if you hit the follow button, absolutely nothing happened. It's like you didn't have, it's like you didn't follow. There's no alert down here. There's no note in chat. There's no, I won't say hi to you. I won't even say thanks for following, despite being thankful. So, unless you chat, it'll be between us. Okay. That said, speaking of chat, we do have a Twitch mandated ad break coming up here. It is
Popular.
You're gonna be popular. I'll teach you the right retorts. You'll be good at sports. Okay, let's try a little bite of this just to make sure it's okay. Yes, that tastes like it's supposed to. Good. This I'm gonna put in a little container here because I'm not eating this right now. The whole point of this was just to get just to use up the corn. Oh, there's a silk I missed. Anyway, we're gonna have a quick break here coming up. We're gonna play a game of words on stream on Twitch. We're gonna run a 3-minute advertisement commercial break, if you will. The ad will be 3 minutes long. I'm not going to do anything during the ad. I'm going to put some clean dishes away. That's what excuse me. That's what I'm going to do during the ad. So, a little heads up that that's happening. If you're not a subscriber, you are going to see that. If you don't want to see it, perhaps you can go subscribe on YouTube. It is available, and that is where Jolene on YouTube is. Hi, Jolene. Good to see you. Happy Tuesday. Welcome in. Okay, here comes a game of words on stream. Here comes a 3-minute ad. We'll be right back. Don't go away. Or do.
Hi, welcome to another edition of
Maybe that was...
Commercials I Hate.
But maybe don't. Okay, let's get some things in the dishwasher here. Or not in the dishwasher. We're gonna get I'm gonna put some things away. You know what I need to put away? I have a bunch of stuff in the oven. I have oh, what do I have in the oven? I have some sheet pans in the oven. As always. And I'm gonna need to get these out. So let's do that now. Ow, they're hot. They're hot! Is that ad running? Okay, good. It is. I put all my sheet pans, whenever I wash them, I put them in the oven to dry. I turn the oven on a little bit. And sometimes I'll forget that it's in there. It's always really awkward when that happens, because then the oven's on and they're just like roasting in there and they're hot, and I'll go to put something in the oven and it's like, well, can't do that. Too many sheet pans. Too many sheet pans. All right. Either no one wants to play Words on Stream, or this board's really hard. But that's okay. We're running an ad, so you know what? It really doesn't matter all that much. Okay, putting things away. Oh, continuing progress. Oh gosh, I've got all sorts of stuff over here. From last night's stream, I didn't do the dishes until this morning, and it was so defeating. There was so many dishes there, and then I did. Then I packaged all the cookies, and I came back to the kitchen and was like, oh, shoot, I can't do this right now. So I didn't, and that's okay. Excuse me. All I could think of was naughty words. And we know, Penrella, that the words doesn't like that. They're always a little prude, if I'm being honest. I feel like Words on Stream, I feel like you should be able to like, there should be like adult words on stream. You should be able to like opt into like an 18 plus version of Words. I think that would be fun. I would definitely appreciate that. I think it would be funny. If you're on Twitch, welcome back. Thank you for your patience. I appreciate you. I know that nobody likes the ads. I don't either. But, you know, you get them because you can't not get them. So we just run them. We just run them every hour, and I do things like put the dishes away. Boring stuff. Well, Momo, welcome in. Good day. Hello. Happy Wednesday. It's weird. I don't usually stream on Wednesday. I have a couple times recently. And it's always a little, it's always very interesting because like my energy is different on Wednesday. I feel like it is. Not good, not bad, just different. As we are coming into the end of the school year, which we are, today's the last full day of school for my son, and tomorrow and Friday are half days. So schedule's been weird and a little bit off recently. So I'm trying here. I'm trying to maintain 2 days a week. Trying to maintain 2 good stream days per week at sort of a minimum. But here we are, streaming today. Avo, welcome in. Good job on that second Words on Stream. I feel like the first couple are always a little bit warm-ups. Always a little bit of a warm-up, you know. Jamie's birthday warm-up, thank you. Has not come through chat today, but if we see Jamie, I will remember that. Avo, Mushroom Fest, yes. Mushroom Fest. always the weekend after Labor Day. We, this year, are going to go to Mushroom Fest. We're definitely 100% doing an IRL for Mushroom Fest this year. 100%. Guaranteed. Like locked in. Doing a Mushroom Fest stream. I've been going for years. It's so fun. And it's so ridiculous. It's still primarily about like the town and the history of the town. It's also very commercial. Like there's a lot of vendors that are going to sell you siding and roofs and insurance and like a bunch of shit. But primarily it is about like Kennett Square and the mushroom, it being the mushroom capital of the world. Mushrooms are about to start fruiting soon. It's fun. What prompted you to grow mushrooms? Or are you doing them off of like a log or one of those kits? How are you growing them? That's cool. Years ago, someone gave me a mushroom growing kit, and I never actually used it, which is unfortunate. I should have, but I didn't, and that's okay. But we are definitely going to Mushroom Fest this year, and I'm looking forward to it because it's fun. Okay, Pesto time. 12:30, 1:30, 2:30. So I have 2.5 hours. Let me look at this. Where'd that recipe go? Where'd that recipe for the choux pastry go? There it is. Here it is. Got it. Liquid culture and rice. Oh, so you were like really going in. I've only ever seen the ones that were like you buy a box, you know, and you like cut a hole in it and you poke some holes and you like spritz it with a mist and then like mushrooms come out. So the farmer's market booth, super. I feel like the hard thing with trying to do like anything at a market is consistency. If they ask you to commit to like, you know, doing months, you know, how like what, like a year of, you know, tabling at this market, you know, then you have to like make sure you have product. Let's see. So I'm looking at these choux cakes. Bake for 10 minutes, bake for 15 more, crack the oven, let them cool, cover and chill. Okay. These seem like these seem pretty easy. I mean, I've made these before, so I know that they come out well. Place a rack in the middle of the oven, butter, salt, sugar, and a 1/4 cup of water to a boil. Stirring to encourage butter to melt, salt and sugar to dissolve. Immediately reduce heat, add flour all at once. Stir gently until most of the flour is absorbed. Then cook, stirring vigorously and breaking up pockets of flour as needed until a thin film forms on the bottom and sides of the pan and the dough comes together into a single mass. 2 to 3 minutes. The dough should look glossy and feel buttery slick to the touch. Transfer dough to a small bowl. Spread up the sides with a spoon. Let sit until cooled slightly but still warm to the touch, about 4 minutes. Okay. Pour half the eggs into the center of the bowl with the dough. Using a fork, mix until incorporated. Add remaining egg and mix again. Using a rubber spatula, scrape any dough from the fork. Then vigorously mix dough with a spatula until very smooth, glossy, and a little stretchy. Using a large metal spoon, scoop about 2 tablespoons, about 1/6 of the dough. Using another large metal spoon, scrape the dough into a parchment-lined baking sheet. Repeat with the remaining dough, creating 5 more cakes, leaving a generous amount of space around each one. Got it. Scrape out any bits of dough. Using a wet index finger, smooth out any pointy bits of dough. Sprinkle each cake with a generous pinch of sugar and bake. Okay, so these are pretty straightforward. You start them in a pot, you finish them in a bowl, you bake them, and then they're done. I am going to, let's see. Let's maybe do this pesto first, because that's going to be easy, and then we can, whoa. Just turned the food processor on with my elbow. So here's what we'll do. We'll make the pesto, then we'll do the choux cakes, then we will probably end up processing the stock that's in this pot / this camera here. And when I say processing, I mean like straining it and then packaging it. And then the same thing with the pesto, probably while these cakes like either bake or cool down. But this also says I need to macerate some strawberries for this. If I want to eat them right away, I'm going to need to do that. But let's do, it's 12:30. Let's do the pesto right now. If I start the shoe cakes by 1 p.m., I should be able to finish those by 2 p.m. And I need to finish stream today by 3 p.m. This is all Eastern Standard. I'm going to use pistachios in my pesto today, and I'm using these salt and pepper pistachios because I'm adding salt and pepper to them anyway, so like why not. Also, I don't have any other pistachios or walnuts or anything. I have the walnut powder that I used last time, but I'm trying to use up some things from the cabinet. So we're gonna peel a bunch of these pistachios and put those in. I know it's a little tedious, and that's okay. We're using it up. My goal is to just use up the things in the cabinet today. I don't have a recipe for any of this other than the shoe cake, and I don't have like, I'm not using them for dinner today either. All of this, the stock and the pesto is just getting stored. I'll probably put it in the freezer. I have a little bit of pesto. The pesto I made last week with the a bunch of different greens was not my favorite. I realized that using the beet tops in the pesto made it really soft. The carrot tops are good. Carrot tops are good for pesto. But I think I probably won't use the beet tops again. I feel like they were a bit, they dragged it down a little bit, if I'm being honest, and made it like creamier somehow. I'm putting a lot of blame on the beet top here, but they were the only ingredient that I used last time that I hadn't used in a pesto in recent memory, and so it didn't turn out quite as I wanted it to. It was good. It's pretty good, but not my best work. Which is okay, because not everyone's perfect all the time. Not all of your pesto is going to be the best though. All right. We are just gonna, I'm probably gonna use all of these pistachios because there's not a ton. Boris, welcome. Oh, you've never tried making pesto from scratch. It is super easy. It's another one of those things that I think, excuse me, I personally don't really have a recipe for. I have a process and like some stuff that has to go in it, right? Like cheese, lemon, some sort of nut, either walnut, pine nut, pecan, pistachio, whatever, some sort of like nut, and then greens. And the greens are really where you can sort of take a lot of liberties. I don't always use basil. Basil's like the common one. If you're buying pesto, a lot of the time it's going to be a basil pesto, and that's just sort of how it goes. But you can make it with any herb, really. I've made it with arugula before, which has been pretty good. I have made it with carrot tops before, which is kind of spicy. Not spicy like warm, you know, like spicy as in has a bit of a bite, a different kind of bite to it. Okay. And these are salt and pepper pistachios, so they're actually pretty good. They're already salted. and peppered, which is nice. Darlene on YouTube, welcome in. I am doing great. Thank you for asking. Doing pretty well. It's a Wednesday, so it's, you know, midweek. There's not a ton, not a ton that I'm doing right now outside of like just kind of getting to the end of the school year. It's been a slog. The spring, May and June are always, I feel like they are, for parents of school-age children, particularly challenging, because this is sort of the time of day slash year when you have all sorts of like obligations happening, like spring concerts and end of year celebrations. It's the weather's a lot nicer out, so people, you know, my son particularly like wants to hang out with friends more. So it's sort of the time of year where there's a lot happening all at the same time. So I try to maintain a bit of space and not over obligate myself this time of year. I always end up feeling over obligated, as I do currently, but usually it's like over obligated with like good stuff, you know, like we've had some camping trips recently. I don't know, stuff like that, but I'm spending time at this point like getting making sure the summer schedule is set up, you know. Like I'm arguing with someone at one of Calvin's summer camps right now. That I need to change. They won't give me a refund. And anyway, I'm speaking to the manager. Trying to speak to the manager. They won't talk to me. Shockingly enough. But it's a busy time of year. But keeping good. Trying to keep everything in front of me. We have till the end of the week, and then the school year ends. So I'm looking forward to summer. A very busy summer. Summer's booked. Like booked already. I was talking to someone the other day about like, oh, could you have time can you like come down? You know, we're basically like getting a vacation spot. Like, do you want to come down for a few days at this time? And I was like, that it was in August, and I'm like, no, I can't. Like, already booked. Sorry, should have talked to me in literally January. The heat is definitely arriving. Yeah, I can feel it. It's starting to get to be the time of year where like, if your AC isn't like actively running, your house just always feels warm. At least mine does. I need to be better about like closing the blinds and the shades, some of them during the day, because inside, you know, the heat kind of gets in, and then you're like, then it's just hot inside. And all you got to do is close the shades, you know? It's not all you got to do. Hey, we're simmering our pesto, or not pesto. What is that? Stock. What's in that pot there? Stock. Is Calvin going to be in your IRL streams when school ends? Maybe. He may be doing that, but he's got camp a lot during the summer. I am ideally interested in doing more. I think I might have the space for more IRL streams during the summer. Not that I don't have space now, but basically, like, he's doing different camps that I need to like take him to. So I'm thinking like some of those days where like I drop him off at camp at like 9 and I pick him up at like 3, I might just stream from wherever that camp is, not necessarily where the camp, you know, not from the camp itself, of course, but from, say, like the part of the city that camp is in, because he's doing a variety of different ones this summer. So like I'm not going to be in the same place every single time. I need to move that camera a little bit because the steam is like really hitting, and I don't want the steam to like ruin my camera. Because it might. it could very well could easily ruin that camera. So let's just put the camera a little higher. We'll zoom it in. We'll do a little bit of an adjustment there, and that's better. Okay, cool. Got it. Broccoli, welcome in. Good to have you. Okay, so we have our pistachios shelled. It's a lot of pistachios. This is going to be a pretty nut-heavy pesto. I don't have a lot of cheese either, so nut heavy, light on the cheese this time around. I am making pesto despite not having a bunch of cheese because we're just using what we have in whatever volume we have it. The cheese is the least important of the pesto ingredients, in my opinion. What else do we need the basil for? The basil is for the pesto. The garlic scapes are for the pesto. Okay, so let's put the lid on. Put the lid on this. I'm gonna pulverize these nuts here for a few moments. Gonna get these. Probably gonna be pretty loud, maybe. So like, just I don't know. Be advised. Be advised. Savory Sailor, welcome. Thank you for your resub. I appreciate you. Good to see you. Happy Wednesday. The Cloaca Club. Oh my god. You're ridiculous. That's a good one though. That's a good one. One whole shared goal. The Cloaca Club. Yikes. Loud noise. 3, 2, 1. Wasn't as bad as I thought. The mic is filtering it. Oh, cool. That's good. We like that. Got really high and my friends just started texting each other dumb jokes. That is, yeah, that's the output of like marijuana versus alcohol. Dumb jokes or like wild mood swings. I'm also going to add a little bit of sunflower seed to this because I like sunflower seeds. Completely silent. I'm still not 100% certain whether some sounds come through on stream or not. Like, you hear that? That should come through, but maybe it doesn't. All right, I'm gonna get these sunflower seeds chopped up too. My that was weird. Daisy's upstairs in Calvin's room, and she just jumped out of the chair. She's got like a chair in his room. She sleeps in a lot during the day, and she just jumped out of the chair, and it sounded exactly like Calvin hitting the ground. I think they weigh the same, by the way, he and Daisy. So I feel like they're at the weight where like she hits the floor. It sounds the same as him jumping out of the chair. He's at school, so that's why I was like, wait, is that right? Okay. What else do we need in here? We have our nuts. We're gonna need cheese. Let's get the cheese out. Where's that cheese? There it is. I'm just gonna dump the rest of this Parmesan in here. Cheese, lemon. Where's my lemon? There it is. Lemon. I'm gonna add the basil, garlic scapes. Rest some herbs in here. I've got some chives. I have some dill. What else? Oh wow! I have a lot of chives in here. Sheesh! I didn't realize that I had all those too. That's no good. Oh, that time. Time's up for this time. That is not going in. That's going directly into the compost. That's not even going in the stock. It's a dried husk of itself. I'm going to add, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to add some of this chive. I'm going to add the good chives that are not wilted to the pesto. We're going to add the rest to the stock. The time has come. The time indeed has come. The time's up for that. So I don't have, these are going to wilt before the weekend, or not before the weekend. These are going to wilt before I use them. So we're going to add some of these, some of these to the stock, some of these to the pesto. That's good there. We'll add these to the stock. Perfect. And the big old stock pot on the stove is just cooking along right now. It's simmering nicely. We're up to a light simmer. So it's just going to stay like that for a little while. I'm going to finish with this pesto. When I finish with the pesto, I'll have had enough, not enough. I will be finished with what I'm adding to the stock in terms of like additional greens. So that is, once I'm finished that, then we can just ignore the stock until I'm ready to process it. Wouldn't be opposed to using it if it was just dried. Yeah, and it's just been in the fridge for a little too long. I sort of, I don't want to like, it's fine. Sometimes it's okay to just cut your loss if it's not looking so great. This dill, this is the last day I could use. This is the last day I could use this dill for most anything. Some of this is just wilted and crappy already. So we're gonna pop that directly in the pot. And the rest of it, yeah, like I said, today's just a use it up day because I have a lot of stuff that's in there that I didn't have a use for specifically this week. All right, so the dill, the stems, I'm going to toss in the pot here, in the stock pot. Just give that a little stir, mix things around. And then the rest we'll toss in here. So we're using things up today. Have I ever dried them out? I've never done dried herbs. I've never dried herbs myself. So no, I haven't. Odie, welcome in. Good to see you. Good to see ya. I've never dried herbs myself. I've used dried herbs, but I haven't ever done it. I haven't ever taken the fresh ones and done anything like that with them. So no. Definitely, I've never made homemade garlic powder either. That sounds fun. How does one make homemade garlic powder? I'm a bit curious. All right, so we're gonna add the herbs. We added the herbs. I'm gonna add the garlic scapes now. These are basically the flowering tops of a one type of garlic plant. They have not flowered, but they are about to flower. There's a little flower like bud on the top here. So you just dehydrate and grind garlic. Okay. Could you dehydrate roasted garlic? Would that work? Tie off the stems, hang them upside down. Yeah, it does seem pretty early. It does seem pretty easy. Like I've seen lots and lots of like dried herbs hanging up like that. Is that just like, I don't know why I've never done that at home. I always feel like there's a part of the process that I would be like missing somehow if I just hung them up like that. I think I've always had the thought it can't be that simple. How intense is the flavor of scapes? Very intense. They are spicy. They have quite a really, they have quite a strong bite to them. They taste, hold on, I will taste a raw one and narrate the experience. Oh, the dehydrate function on the fryer, the air fryer. Okay, that probably hastens the process. So garlic scapes. Garlic scapes are, let me see. So they're pretty dense to start with. Slightly thinner than a pencil. And that's the inside of them. They have they kind of do that thing that aloe does when you cut it, it weeps a little bit. But they are, this is the time of year for garlic scapes. We're kind of right in season for them. I don't love them raw. I don't love them raw. They taste, so first taste, you're like, oh, that tastes like garlic. And then you're like, oh, that's spicy. It's around the outside of your tongue. It doesn't really leave your mouth though. It's not like hot spicy. It's just that pungency of garlic. But it feels a little bit, less concentrated. If you were to eat like a chunk of a garlic clove, it would be like amplified a lot. So it's a little, they're spicy, but it's a little less aggressive than the garlic bulb. Yeah, they're solid, and they're sturdy too. They're quite sturdy in their structure. I don't know what word I was searching for there, but that didn't come out exactly as I thought it might, but it still came out. You can use these raw. They're a little bit mellower than like a piece of garlic, like a chunk, like a clove. Joe, welcome in. Good to see you. Darlene on YouTube says, I'm eating a cinnamon roll. And it's pretty yummy. Even the worst cinnamon roll I've ever had is still like decent. All right, we're gonna give this a buzz. Hey, welcome. Is the weeping gelatinous or just wet? It is just wet. Another thing I miss about the farmer's market, actually having produce. Yeah, and the garlic scapes they're only in season for a little bit of the year. So for me, like when I see them at the market, I'm buying them. Even if I don't know what I'm doing with them, I'm still gonna buy them. So I'm not, because these are like really, they have a very distinct like taste to them. I'm not tossing these in the stock pot because I don't really want there to be this like spicy astringent note in here. So this is one of those things that I would not include in a stock, demonstrably not including it. You can. I usually sometimes I'll put garlic in my stock, like a clove or two, but often I don't. If you experience gelatinous weeping, please see a doctor. Yeah. If your weeping is gelatinous, you may have a chemical imbalance. Okay, basil is popping in here next. Pause. Do I have any other greens in the fridge that need to go in here? No, I do not. I have some peas in here, but we're not putting those in. Those are for snacks. I have some cucumbers in here. Those are also not going in. I have more. Celery. Some more celery in here. Again, that's not going in. What is this? This is a fennel frond. That's weird. I don't know why there's just a single fond of fennel in there, but we'll toss that in the pot too. What if I have an erection that lasts for more than 4 hours? The television tells me that you should also call the doctor. Unless you were trying, in which case, congrats. Darlene says, when I was on vacation, a lot of midges bit my back. There's a lot of red spots. Oof. That's no fun. It's always kind of shitty coming back from a vacation and having to like recover. But that is a thing. How did the bot not reply to that? The bot's just like chilling. Is the bot even on? Yeah, of course it's on. It's yes, of course the bot is definitely on. It's putting all these messages in chat. I was like, is it even paying attention? Did I turn it on today? Man, that brings something else totally to mind. Jordy, welcome in. Hello. Good to see you. Happy Wednesday. Hump day. That was always kind of a bawdy commercial. At least it was a camel. I am picking garlic off of here because this is a live garlic basil. This is a basil with roots underneath of it, or it's like, you know, it's rooted and still in its dirt. So I'm gonna leave this on the kitchen counter after completely taking every single leaf off of it and see if any of it grows back. Usually it doesn't. It does. It will occasionally grow like a one or two more small leaves, but I feel like often I'm just like hoping against hope, and then that nothing comes of it when I do this with the basil. So that's okay. I don't really want the stems in the pesto, so I'm going to pick the leaves off regardless of whether or not it grows again for me. So process would not change whether or not I was saving the bottoms. Okay, but I am trying to get all the leaves off of here. Somehow it's like not being super cooperative. I don't know why. Reminds me of the tick bite. Yeah, midges and ticks are pretty similar in their attachments, right? Whenever I see a muscle car with one of those huge vents on the hood instead of the front grille, I always think, sorry about your priapism. I'm assuming that has to do something to do with the 4-hour medical condition. I'm not familiar with that term. Which maybe is a good thing. I don't know. I have thoughts when I see muscle cars too, and it's not usually, those thoughts are not usually, ooh, nice car. Actually, I very rarely have the thought, ooh, nice car. I don't like cars. I don't care for them. And usually when I see cars, I'm like, man, I wish those didn't exist. Part of the reason I love living in the city is that I don't have to use a car regularly. I have access to a car, but I do not use it all the time. All right, basil is relatively clipped. We'll maybe leave a few of these small leaves on here. All right, looks good. Oh, not you. Okay, let's put this husk of a plant back over here on the counter. We're gonna give this another spin. We're gonna add some lemon, a bunch of olive oil, salt, pepper, and should be finished. Is there anything else I need to add to this? What else goes in here? Greens, parm, lemon, nuts, herbs, oil. Nope, pretty much everything else is there. Liz, good morning. Welcome in. Welcome. We're making a little pesto right now. Then we're going to be turning our attention to shoe pastry. That's on the agenda. That's next on the agenda. So for all y'all Cookie Club folks, I did not get to go to the post office today. Rather, I should say I went to the post office and they were closed because they don't have enough employees to stay open, and the Lisas were at graduation parties today. Today's a big graduation day in Philadelphia. Lots of schools are doing graduation stuff. So I will be mailing Cookie Club cookies tomorrow morning instead of this morning. Just a slight difference. They are packaged. They are ready to go. I just, if the post office employees aren't available to post the packages, then we can't. Actually, to be fair, what they said, there was some manager there this morning who was like, they were like, is it, whatever, do you basically do you need a person? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, come back at noon. And I was like, okay, so thanks. It's like they are open today, but I just didn't get there before wanting to come back and do kitchen stuff today. Yeah. And Fanatic, the Lisas, I'm not mad. I'm certainly not upset at them. I'm a little frustrated at the post office because I'm like, y'all need to have some staff available when your staff is not available. Isn't that how staffing things works? But also it's the post office, so not unexpected, honestly. All right, let's take a little bite of this and see how we did. Looks good. Needs salt. I didn't add any salt to it yet, so I know it needs that. Yeah. I love garlic scapes. This is super mellow this time. The garlic scapes are nice. Why did I get this olive oil out? Definitely 100% do not need that olive oil. What do I want to add to that? No, I do want to add olive oil, but not from that bottle, from this one. It's the same olive oil. I just, that bottle has less in it. A little more oil, a little more lemon. We'll add some salt in here. Add some pepper in here. Give it another spin, and then we should be pretty good to go. Liz says, I feel like we've been making stock every month. I've made stock, it might have been a month ago. I'm trying to be more judicious about saving my scraps. So basically, whenever I've got enough scraps, I'm trying to make stock. And when we get into summer, of course, that means there's a lot more. Fanatic says, buying and selling stuff online for a bunch of years has given me a huge appreciation for USPS. For all of my Canadian friends, that's the United States Postal Service. Their rates are absurdly low and fair for most everything. Well, yes, I remember going to the post office as a kid. The post office isn't a business. It's a government service. They should have low rates. They should have low rates and reasonable service. And then, if you want it to get there, on a plane in 3 hours, you should be able to pay someone a third party for that, a lot more, Sold a dude in Korea a pair of sneakers and it cost me $11 to send them to the other side of the planet. Yeah, which is super cool. They're probably putting them on the military plane, just shipping them over. Yeah, they serve areas that would never, ever, they serve areas that are unprofitable to provide service to because that's their mandate, which I kind of love. It's part of the reason that I do the Cookie Club stuff through the Postal Service. Not necessarily because it's the best or the fastest, but I feel like, I don't know, they're pretty good. That is super good. What does that need? What does it need? I don't think that needs anything. It's like just spicy enough to be good and not so spicy. The garlic scapes are like the spicy. I keep saying spicy. Spicy is not the right word. What is the right word for that like garlicky sharp? Sharp, I think maybe is a better term. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Liz asked, "What's the snack?" You can't. There you go. Zippy. I think piquant is the actual. That is an actual term. Yeah. Okay. That is the exact word. I think I read that the other day recently too. Okay, good, says zippy. Yeah, zippy. Zippy is more colloquially appropriate than piquant. I think zippy you would probably know more about. And piquant, you're like, hey, who's this guy? Who's this guy with his big words? It is accurate though. Do I need the olive oil? No. Do I need the lemon? No. I do not. I do not. I do not. I do not. As a longtime food writer in long-term recovery, I can confirm that piquant is what you're describing. That is reasonable. Where did I read that the other day? What was I looking at? I was looking at the flavor Bible. That like that book of pairings and it's pairings, etc. And it was in there. That's where I was trying to think about where I read that from. Where I read that, and that's what it was. Let's see. Here we go. Okay, we figured it out. Got it. Okay. Let's package this in a container. I don't know if I'm going to use this right away. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. So I'm not going to freeze it, and I'm not going to segment it out into like smaller portions yet. I'm just going to package it up in this quart container because I made it, but I don't have any plans for it. That's sort of how pesto works. I make it, I leave it in the fridge for about a week. If it doesn't get eaten, I freeze it. Rocky says, Zippy was the name I assigned my old office-issued laptop, as in Zippy the Wonder Snail. Oh my god. Office-issued equipment is such a... can be so annoying sometimes. The last time I had an office-issued piece of technology, I was like... It's just the worst. It was the worst. My favorite was always when our IT team would not account for the fact that some of their staff wasn't in the same time zone as them. And they would like, you know, there was several times where I had my laptop like forcibly reset and restarted like during a meeting, like during a Zoom call or during like working hours for like mandatory company update types of things. And I'm like, this is so stupid. But that's corporate America, baby. Just put my feet up and let them pay me for the time that my computer was off. And then right back into Google Docs. God, the literal worst. time zone complications. I always ended up, there was the three different places that I ended up talking to people the most, which I still have the time zone sort of change in my head, would be London, which is 5 hours ahead of me, California, which is 3 hours behind, and then Rio de Janeiro, which is 1 hour ahead. All right, we'll put this in the sink. Let's give this a little rinse off here. Okay, good. Says I left corporate America. Good for you. For small design studio times with lots of studio dogs. That sounds much better. Sounds much better. I left because the company sucked, the people sucked, the job was annoying. I didn't care about the business or the customers. Actually, no, that's not true. I cared a lot about the customers, but I didn't actually care about the business at all, and it wasn't interesting. So I don't do that anymore. It was fine, but I definitely was over it. And coincidentally, they were over me. So it was a mutually agreed departure that I knew was coming for over a year. So it was a nice, like, gradual exit from this company. And, good riddance. They were fucking terrible. Still are. I saw a post that my ex-employer made on LinkedIn yesterday. I don't know why the hell I was on LinkedIn, because I never get on there. It's just like corporate jockeying and just ego measuring. But they made it was like the cringiest post. They were like, they tagged a competitor in it, and I was like, and the comments on it were hilarious. They were just like, y'all are dumb, like y'all are terrible, like this is so tone deaf, blah blah blah. And I was like, yeah, this all tracks. So it was actually kind of nice to see him get completely skewered online. I hate that company. For what it's worth. Anyway, we don't need to bitch about that anymore. Let's do, so what have we done today? Pause. We're gonna recap. We made pesto. That's in the fridge. We made a corn salad. That's in the fridge. We have stock going on the stove. There it is. Stocking itself nicely. And now we're gonna turn our attention to a choux pastry. So Liz, to your question, what's going in the choux pastry earlier, I am going to make strawberries, macerated strawberries. I'm gonna make this, basically, this exact thing. I made this maybe a year ago on stream. Got it. Sinful Goddess, welcome in. Fellow chef, dropping by to see all other chefs stream on here. Well, this is it. You've stepped into stream in a moment where all of the cameras are on. So this is we've now reached, this stream has reached maximum capacity.
I made you some content.
So welcome in. Welcome in. And if if you have any questions about what you're looking at, you can feel free to ask them. Happy to chat. So we're gonna make this choux pastry. Let's get out the things I need to make this. We're gonna take a quick break for some words on the stream and a 3-minute ad on the Twitch platform. When we come back, oh my God, did that come through on the mic? Sheesh. Then we're gonna start. So let's get out what we need. Strawberries, sugar. Strawberries and sugar. Yup, that's how a good dessert should start. Strawberries are in the fridge. Sugar is right here. Now, I haven't opened these since I got them at the market. I didn't check whether these are even still good. They should be. I got them on Saturday. Yeah, they look fine. Okay, good. I just had the thought, I was like, I'm going to pull these strawberries out. I'm going to take them out of the bag, and they're going to be rotten. They're not. But I had I had a moment of panic where I was like, what happens if these aren't any good? What would happen if the strawberries weren't any good? I would just make the pastry anyway. Unsalted butter cut into pieces. Wait, this unsalted butter. We don't have unsalted butter, so we're going to use salted butter, and that's okay. Half a teaspoon Diamond Crystal or Morton kosher salt. Okay. Sugar, already got that out. Flour. Sugar, butter, flour. Sugar, I need 2 eggs at room temperature. No.
Sugar, butter, flour, sugar, butter, flour.
There we go. Eggs, they're supposed to be at room temperature. They're not. They might be in a little bit. Heavy cream. Oh, heavy cream is for the whipped cream. Vanilla bean paste or vanilla extract. Great. Just need to get out the flour. Sugar, butter, flour. Actually, hold on. I've got, instead of getting that big container out, I've got like a little bag here that was open earlier. Let's just use this. Did you shave? Yes, I did. I shaved this morning, in fact. This is as clean shaven as I get. Broccoli said, the last employer I had imported the head guy from the London office to run the New York one. He had some sort of Napoleon complex with his 4'11" height. You quit after a year of reporting to him. I feel that. The last manager I had, the company that I worked for in my exit interview, the CEO, our country manager, and our head of HR were in my exit interview. And I will not be hired there again. And I will not be able to ask any of them for a recommendation ever for anything. I would be shocked if any of them spoke to me ever again. Not that I want them to, but they got a lovely piece of my mind. I called them some really horrible things that I do not regret calling them because I believe them to this day. And that was it. That was the last meeting I had with that company. It was great. Terrible people. Terrible people. It was a fun meeting because the CEO started trying to say some like defensive stuff, and I was like, hey, my turn to talk. I was like, I'm not interested in your opinion anymore. Thank you though. Anyway, he's an egomaniac, and those were the exact words I used. Broccoli says, pot de choux is weird to make if you've never made it. Climbs the side of the pot when starting to get done. I have made this one before. It'll be the second time I've ever made this, so we'll see. Bedro also, welcome in. Hi. Bella says, I have a similar story where I was able to tell the Northwest CEO to go F themselves after they permanently laid us off, after we took concessions to save the company. Yeah, I didn't get laid off. I left. We agreed that I was finished working there. Everybody agreed. It just took a year to get from that agreement to my actual departure. Fun year though. Sinful Goddess, you still have good standing with your old employer, which is nice. I didn't want to have good standing with them because I don't respect them. So I was like, I don't care. I'm going to burn this bridge intentionally because none of these people talk to the other people that I would want to network with. And if they did, great. They can be all real honest about me. Because other people in that industry have opinions about them too. Anyway, yes. Okay, so we have our strawberries out. We need to macerate these strawberries. Do ahead. Strawberries can be macerated. Strawberries. Gently mix strawberries, lemon zest, and juice, sugar, and salt in a medium bowl to combine. A pound of fresh strawberries, hulled and cut into large pieces. Zest and juice of half a lemon, 2 tablespoons of sugar, quarter teaspoon of salt. Okay. Let's cut some strawberries real quick. Because these need to get in... they need to get... I need to get into a, where's my cutting board? There it is. Into some sugar first. So we'll cut these. It says just into chunks, so I'm not gonna like bother making these anything other than like just rough chunks. She ruined their dinner in a restaurant a year later. Wow, that's even better. Oh my god, that would be so satisfying. That would be so satisfying. I bet that was satisfying. Mine was just an exit interview, and they were like, you know, what do you have? What's your feedback? Blah blah blah. And it was like, well. The sort of the landscape of that job for me was that the company I was working for a long time got acquired by another company, and that other company did not... They didn't listen. Like they're very... It's just everybody there has a huge ego. They didn't want to listen to anything. You know, I'm like, hey, I've been working with these customers for like 8 years now. Here's what's going to help them convert to your thing. And they were like, no, this other thing's going to get them to convert. And I was like, no, it's not. And they're like, yes, they are. And 3 years later, I was right. And, you know, the business unit that they had wasn't doing well and blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, you know, y'all, shockingly, this was all very predictable. And in fact, was predicted by lots of people who worked for this other company that you acquired, that you just kind of like didn't have any mind for. So I just didn't have any good feelings for them. But I was also the only person in the whole company who was there who like spoke with customers on any regular basis. And that meant that they really needed me to be able to like continue to do the things that they wanted to do with these customers, because otherwise like no one had any contact with them. Like they didn't even have their email addresses, like how they wouldn't know. So I was in a weird position of like helping with this thing while also like wanting to not be there at all. So it was kind of shitty. It was shitty. It wasn't kind of shitty. Am I making crackling? I'm not. All I'm making... So I'm making strawberries. The topping for these shoes is going to be macerated strawberries and whipped cream. Nothing more complicated. Nothing more complicated than that. We'll be doing just the strawberries and whipped cream. Command shoes... SHOES in chat, I think brings back a fun sound clip, if I'm not mistaken. It should.
Cheers. Oh my god, cheers.
It does. I'm glad that still works. I haven't thought about that one in a long time, but that one definitely still works. If you know what that's from, then you are probably my age. If you know what that sound clip is from, you existed on the internet at a time where the internet was a little bit more pure of heart than it is these days. These shoes rule. These shoes suck. That's such a cute top. Let me borrow that top. What a good internet era. Unfortunately, I know where it's from and I hate that I do. Yeah, it's like... It's one of those things where, like, if you know, you're of a certain era of the internet. That's just how it goes. All right, we're gonna finish cutting up these strawberries. I'm gonna throw some lemon juice and zest and sugar on here, and we're gonna get them started on their maceration journey. Then we're going to take a 3-minute break. I'm going to run some ads on Twitch. We're going to play some words on stream. If you would like to play words on stream, that will be available. And then I'll be back, and we're going to do the shoe. We're going to do the shoe pastry. It's should be pretty straightforward, hopefully. I remember making this before and doing. I remember it being really super easy. Like the recipe itself was like pretty simple. In the description it says foolproof, so that's how you know it's good. I remember it being pretty straightforward, and I've had a craving for it. There was a food and drink Twitch challenge recently, all about shoe pastry, and while I didn't find it in me to participate, I've been thinking about shoe pastry now for like maybe 2 weeks. Zest during Pride Month. Happy Pride Month, y'all. Yes to zest. It's funny, that brings up there's a bar in Manioc called Zesties that a friend of mine used to always try to get me to go to. But as I've said on this channel many times before, I don't like Manioc. And I don't like going out there. Anyway, that person was also gay, and I think Zesties was a gay bar. So that's where that naming association comes from. Former coworker from like a decade ago. I haven't thought about him in a long time. Wild how like one little word will bring forth so much. All right, these are good. It says about a pound of strawberries. I mean, I'm making this for myself, so like this is plenty of strawberries, and they will be fine to sit in the fridge if I don't eat all of them. I also need butter cut into pieces. So let's go ahead and do that too. The other thing that I need a cutting board for. It says 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's cut that into pieces. Then we'll take our quick break. Mega, how's it going? Mega, for me, it's going great. Today is a project day. I love a kitchen project day because I don't have any sort of deadline. I need to be finished streaming at a certain point. But I don't have any, I'm not like feeding my family today. I'm not making anything that is, there's no timing on any of this. So I have a much more relaxed day today. How's your day going? I hope it's good. We're doing some butter now, chopped up. It says chopped into what? Cut into pieces. How big of the pieces? I don't know. Gives a shit. We're melting it in a pot. It doesn't matter how big the pieces are. The directions are like, cut the butter into pieces and then melt them in a pot. Okay. Why cut them? I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We're going to take a quick break. During that quick break, I am going to, what am I going to do? I am going to process dishes. I've got dishes like over in the sink over here. No, we're not. I meant to macerate these. I meant to macerate the berries. I didn't do it. Okay, whatever. It doesn't matter. We'll do that after the break. Twitch is like yelling at me. It wants me to do an ad break. So we're going to do that. If you're new to stream, we run 3 minutes of ads during roughly every hour. I was going to say at the top of the hour, but it is the bottom of the hour right now. Anyway, here comes a Game of Words on stream. Here comes a 3-minute ad on Twitch. If you're not in love with ads, you can go follow on YouTube. There's a link to that in chat, or subscribe, whatever it is they use on YouTube. Subscribe. That's the one. Like and follow. No, like and subscribe. Anyway, here comes 3 minutes of ads on Twitch because they're demanding it, and we'll be back in a few minutes. BRB.
Hi. Welcome to another edition of Commercials I Hate.
God. Okay, let's get the. It's just going to continue loading things into the dishwasher and getting my counter clear because that's just part of it. The general kitchen and counter management. What time is it? 13:30, 14:30. I have an hour and a half to finish a choux pastry and drain and store some stock. That feels very manageable. As long as I don't get hung up on the pastry too much, should be good. We should be good. 3 hours later. We'll see. All right. Just, yay, my sink is empty. There's stuff in the dishpan, there's stuff in the dishwasher, but the sink itself is empty. That's good. That's good. Love that. I love that for me and future me, who will look at the sink and be like, I'm glad there's no dishes in there. All right. Okay. Alrighty. I hate where it's on stream. Liz says, you know, it does happen. Weird. This isn't letting me just hit next game. There we go. It was hung up on the loading screen. Or some other screen. Alright. Getting the sink clean. Should have just a little bit of time this evening. Right after school, before the evening, to finish any of these dishes. Let's see. Do I need a stand mixer for this pastry? I need to look. Medium saucepan. Nope, small bowl. Medium saucepan, small bowl. Okay, that's easy. I can do that. I can do that. Well, I wish I had I don't have a glass bowl. Wish I had a glass bowl. I don't have a glass bowl. Okay, if you're on Twitch, that you're through the ad break now, thank you for your patience. I appreciate it. No one likes the ads. Twitch likes the ads, to be fair. I like the ads. I like the ads sort of sometimes because they give me a chance to like do some dish match, but otherwise I don't like them. Otherwise I don't like them. They're not my favorite. Congrats. Much congrats. Liz, that actually should be the I could add that as the command. I gotta preheat the oven. That's what I gotta do. Okay, is there anything in the oven? No, there's not. Butter, salt, a tablespoon of sugar. Oh wait, hold on. No, strawberries. I gotta put the shit in the strawberries. Lou, what are you doing? What are you actually doing? I know what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to untie this bag of sugar without ripping it because I broke my sugar container recently. I don't need a new one. I don't really want a new one, but I don't have a better way. I don't have a better sugar storage solution. And this bag is all I got at the moment. I probably shouldn't have tied it. Well, I didn't tie it in a knot. This is new. It came from the store like this. We're gonna put a thing around it at the end of this. Anyway, is this sugar? This better be sugar. White sugar. Yep. Okay, good. Strawberries. Strawberries. 2 tablespoons of sugar. That's a lot of sugar. I know. We're macerating. Zest and juice of half of a lemon. Half a lemon. Wild. Roger says, do you have any tips for avoiding bumps or like ingrown hairs after getting a clean shave? To be fair, Bedro, I don't use a razor. I use an electric razor situation, and I don't shave all the way down to my skin. I use a razor on my upper lip, my lower, under here, like the little goatee patch, and then on my neck. I don't have any tips for avoiding razor burn. I am fortunate insofar as I don't really get it. I don't get a lot of ingrown hairs. I don't have any tips for you. I'm sorry. I hate shaving. I often wish that I didn't have to shave. It's an annoying thing. Okay, juice from half a lemon. How's the stock? Stock's coming along. Stock is simmering. We've got everything in the pot now. Nothing new is going in that pot, so it's only going to reduce from this point. I heard the estrogen helps. Yeah, I bet it does. I am on neither estrogen nor testosterone, none of that. What was I watching last night? I was watching some YouTube video about some guy who did some exercise it was like the Try Guys channel or something like that. Anyway, he was like he started out, he was like, oh, I'm testing all of my levels, and he was like, you know, my level of testosterone is in like the lowest 10% or something. And then when he finished, he was doing some sort of like workout. It was like 75 days worth of like working out every day and going outside, and like, you know, it was basically like an hour and a half of working out every day and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, the end of the video, he's like, after working out aggressively every day for like several months, he's like, my testosterone is through, you know, it was like 10 times what it was when I was in, you know, in the beginning of this process. And I was like, damn, okay. Like, cool. Good for you. What would you use a Philly cheesesteak stock for? French onion soup, of course. But some type of beef stew. Speaking of stock, this is looking pretty good. All right. Strawberries are being macerated. They're over on the counter here. Here we go. Wonder how. Hello. Steak and eggs. Jealous. I'm a little hungry, so I'm generally jealous of like folks who have had lunch already. Did you make the steak and eggs? Is this like a regular thing? How do you cook your steak? Cast iron pan. Butter, salt, a tablespoon of sugar, and a quarter cup plus 105 grams of water to a boil in a medium saucepan, stirring with a wooden spoon. Okay, let's get this saucepan out first. So let me all my ingredients. I'm gonna get all my ingredients together too, because I need to measure out the flour Add flour all at once. Oh gosh, this gives you weight. This gives you weights. We love to see it. Butter. Okay, so we're gonna bring together the butter. Yes. Butter. First time all year. Well, congrats. So leftover lasagna, hell yeah. Leftover lasagna is better than day of lasagna, so amazing. A 1/4 teaspoon of kosher salt. So we are adding the butter, salt, a tablespoon of sugar, and 105 grams of water, which I'm just going to measure. We are going to do that by weight because it gives a weight, so why not? Where's my scale? It's over on the counter. Perfect. Right where I need it to be. Imagine that. All right, 105 grams. Perfect. 105 grams of water, and that little cup gets to go right back onto the drying rack. Bring them together, boil in a medium saucepan. Encourage butter to melt and salt and sugar to dissolve. Reduce the heat to medium-low and add the flour all at once. How much flour? It says 63 grams of flour. Okay. Let's do 63 grams of that. Megan, ask away. If I can't answer it, I can. If I can't answer it, I know who can, or I can point you to a resource. Hopefully, but yeah, feel free to ask. I'm open. I'm very open to food and drink club questions as we get started here and try to get some traction. 63 grams. Perfect. 63. Oh, that's 64. It's going to be ruined. There it is. 63. 2 large eggs. Okay, 2 large eggs I could just crack when the time comes. How long does this pot usually last you? The large stock pot? I don't know. It could last a while. In this time of year, probably a long time. I would imagine that I'm not likely to use the stock for very much in the next month or two. It's no longer soup season, so it's very that's the main thing that I use it for, is just soups. So I imagine that this particular pot of stock will still be kicking along in a couple months from now. I'm going to freeze it. Chef Mega says, do you know if there'll be a food and drink club tag like how you have the IRL one in the About Me section? I can answer that. Yes, there will be. So 1, yes, there will be. 2, it's not available yet. They generally for those tags, they have to have the club be active. The club has to be active for more than a month to start out. So it will be there if you are in the food and drink club on Discord. That's different than the team. So what you're talking about is a team page. And so, yes, there will be one, and it will be available about a month or maybe a little bit more than a month from now. Okay, so let's read this and make sure I know what I'm doing. Medium saucepan, stir with a wooden spoon. Stir gently till most of the flour is absorbed. Got it. So we have the stuff. I got the flour ready. Breaking up pockets of flour. Transfer dough to a bowl. Let sit until cooled slightly, but warm to the touch about 4 minutes. Pour half the eggs into the center of the bowl. Do I need to do anything to the eggs? Eggs are supposed to be at room temperature, beaten to blend. Okay, so let's, before we even do that, let's just get our things ready. Yeah, so Mega, the team is what you're, a team is what you're talking about, and there will be a food and drink team that says, like, instead of saying Creator Club IRL like it does next to my name, in the About Me section, it will say like food and drink. And yes, there will be. And if you are in the club, you can join the team. They're not connected though. Like they are connected, like they're related, but they're not. You don't get the one automatically. You still have to like opt into the team. Okay, so eggs are ready. Blah blah blah. Everything's good. Let's get over to the stove, and we're gonna come way down here. Perfect. Okay, let's switch over to that camera and put some choux pastry on the stove. Okay, so here's my pot. We're gonna add this. It says bring it to a boil. Oh, on burner. There we go. Should not take very long to bring to a boil because there's only a very little bit of water in here. So we're gonna keep an eye on this and keep stirring it as we go. So the directions say preheat the oven, which we've done. In a pan, bring the butter, salt, sugar, and water to a boil in a medium saucepan, stirring with a wooden spoon to encourage butter to melt and salt and sugar to dissolve. So this should only take a few moments here. And I no longer feel any salt and sugar on the inside of this. It's feeling it's no longer granular. So this is on, bring the water to a medium. It just says bring it to a boil. So I have this on high currently. Then it says immediately reduce heat to medium-low and add flour all at once. Stir gently until most of the flour is absorbed. Then cook, stirring vigorously and breaking up pockets of flour as needed until a thin film forms on the bottom and sides of pan and the dough comes together into a single mass. 2 to 3 minutes. Things are falling out of my Crocs. What are those called? Gibbets? I always forget. Get back in there. There we go. Okay. So we're almost boiling here. Again, it only takes a moment. Just gonna wait. This should boil any second here. We have the little bubbles around the side. So that looks pretty good. All right, I would say that is now boiling. Reduce heat. Immediately reduce heat to medium low. Heat is on medium low. Add the flour all at once. Stir gently until most of the flour is absorbed. Gently. Okay, so they really want you to stir it vigorously, but they don't want the flour to come shooting out of the pot. Makes sense. Okay, until most of the flour is absorbed. Then cook, stirring vigorously and breaking up pockets of flour as needed until a thin film forms on the bottom and sides of the pan and the dough comes together into a single mass. 2 to 3 minutes. We're going to set a count up timer and go. So we're stirring vigorously, we're breaking up pockets of flour. Baker, welcome in. Good to have you. Now, for, what do we call it? For management of expectations, today's stream is going to end by 10 minutes after 3. By 15:10, if I'm still online, I'm just going to need to end stream because I need to pick up Calvin from school. So just a little like housekeeping note as we kind of get into what I think is the last hour of stream. I'm going to manage my time. I feel like I've managed my time appropriately, but I may have messed up because I may not get to the part where I strain all the stock off, which is fine. If I don't get to that, then I don't get to that, and the stock just gets to sit in the pot for a little while longer, which is not a problem. Okay, so I am looking for thin film forming on the bottom and the sides, and the dough coming together into a single mass, about 2 to 3 minutes. We're almost there. This is about 2 minutes. We're coming up on 2 minutes here. Again, this is at medium heat. Medium low, I should say. That is medium low. Medium low is 3 out of 7. Medium, it's like 3.5. So I am seeing a little bit of a thin film, as I would describe it. On the bottom, like if I scrape, stuff's coming up. So this is also easily formed into a single mass, if I want it to be. It's kind of breaking itself up as I'm stirring it, but that's just because I'm stirring it vigorously, not because it wouldn't stick together. It's looking good. The dough should look glossy and feel buttery slick to the touch. Yes and yes. Okay, so this is 3 minutes. We're at 3 minutes right now. 57, 58, 59. This is 3 minutes. I would say this is what we're looking for. Great. Take it off the heat. Come on back over here to the... Now it says that we are to transfer the dough to a small bowl and spread up the sides with a spoon. This will encourage it to cool faster. Let sit until cooled slightly but still warm to the touch, about 4 minutes. Okay. I mean, I would say this is cool to the touch right now because I would touch this. It's hot, but it's hot, but you could do it. Okay. Give this a couple minutes. While this is just chilling like that, I'm gonna toss this in the fridge just to like accelerate for a moment while I get a sheet pan out to bake these on, because this should go pretty quick. The baking process for this is actually not super long at all. Okay, and I also can put my sugar. Can I put my sugar away? No, not yet. Yes. Yeah, I'm done with the sugar. Okay. Let's put some of the stuff on the counter away. See, instead of putting a knot on here, we're going to use one of these nice little twisty tie situations that is easy to undo. There we go. Pot goes in the sink. Finish with that. Sugar goes back in the cabinet where it came from. And salt can go back. The lemon can go back into the refrigerator. The other half of the lemon. Let's see, what else can get put away here? Giant pot lid over there. I think that's about it. Let's make sure I know what the rest of the thing is here. Let's sit until cooled slightly, but still warm to the touch, about 4 minutes. Pour half the eggs into the center of the bowl. with the dough. Using a fork, mix until incorporated. Then add the remaining egg and mix again. Using a rubber spatula, scrape any dough from the fork, then vigorously mix dough with the spatula until very smooth and glossy and a little stretchy. Okay, so all we're doing is adding the eggs, half egg, other half, mix, stir with a spatula. Then we put these on the baking sheet, and then we smooth them out. Then we sprinkle them with a pinch of sugar. Great. I do have sugar in a little container. I'll use that instead. This is still warm to the touch. It's warm, but not too warm. I think one of the things, I think maybe what they're concerned about with this is that if you put it in, the egg in while this is too hot, it will cook the egg. I'm not concerned about that. This is not hot enough to cook an egg. So let's do the egg. We're going to mix half. What does it say? Pour half the eggs into the center. Using a fork, mix until incorporated. Then add the remaining eggs and mix again. Okay. Half the eggs go into the center. And use a fork and mix until incorporated. This is a wet dough, huh? At least this part of it is. Okay, that feels incorporated. Let's get the rest. Mini cream puffs, broccoli, yes. I saw this recipe. I remember seeing it. It was in a magazine last year, and I was like, "Oh, that looks so good." And I made it, and it was really good. And then I was like, "This is great. I'm gonna keep this." And I'm back at it this year. So this is the second time I've made this recipe. And I was thinking about making angel food. I was thinking about making an angel food cake today, or angel food cupcakes. But I didn't. The reason I didn't was because I was going to, and I meant to print the recipe, and I didn't. And I hate using my computer to look at recipes while I'm cooking. So I already had this one printed out, so we're making this one instead. Mix again to combine. Using a rubber spatula, scrape any dough from the fork, then vigorously mix dough with the spatula until very smooth, glossy, and a little stretchy. When you lift the spatula out of the dough falling off the end should form a V shape. Okay, well this is, it is coming together. It looks a little stretchy. When you hold it up, it should form a V shape. Yes. A little late for the Shoe Gladiator Challenge. Baker, that's actually kind of what made me think about it, initially it's what made me remember that I had this recipe at all. I am generally not one to I'm not a joiner. I feel I want to support folks that are doing things on stream and doing a bunch of community stuff like that, but I find it really difficult to organize and make space for that type of thing. This sort of do this thing by this day. It gives me anxiety around having to do that, so I generally don't. When I did the food fight last year with Dana's Kitchen, it's funny because I was very much I didn't want to do it. Dana was very gracious with me about being it's okay, you'll do fine. Obviously I did fine, but it was just kind of funny. Okay, about 45 grams per pastry. Using a large metal spoon, scoop out about 2 tablespoons of dough. You'll be making 6. You want about 6 of the dough. Using another large metal spoon, scrape the dough onto a parchment-lined baking sheet. Repeat with the remaining dough. Using a wet index finger, gently smooth out any pointy bits of dough. These can burn in the oven. Sprinkle each chew cake with a generous pinch of sugar and bake 10 minutes. Great. Easy. Easy. Let's do it. What did I say? About 45 grams? worth of dough per. Wow. This dough is airy. It's that's like I made 20-gram cookies yesterday, and so I'm like a little thrown off by the sizing here. 2. Close enough. And it says to scrape these down too. Basically it says like get everything out of the bowl. Don't leave any of it behind. So we will make sure to do that. That's why it puffs up. Yeah, it is. It's funny because it's like if that was a cookie ball, right? Like that amount of cookie dough would be like 60, 70 grams. Most cookies. The ones for Cookie Club this month, I was really pleased with. They came out really well. If you weren't here earlier, I'll say it again. I did not get to mail the cookies this morning because the post office was closed. They will be open again tomorrow morning, and I will be back there bright and early when they open at 9 a.m. to mail those cookies as promised. But just a little heads up, they did not go out today. Not that any of them would be arriving today, though, so it's not like there's you were anticipating something today. I was anticipating mailing them today and was slightly distressed when the post office was closed, but also they were closed because our favorite post office Lisas were at graduations this morning for the respective important people in their lives who were graduating today from various Philly schools, and we support that. I would like the Lisas to be able to go to graduation. It is not their fault that the post office doesn't have additional employees to cover their space. They deserve the time off. So we will not hem and haw over it. We'll just send them tomorrow instead. Okay. Pastry is on the tray. I'm wetting my hands. With wet hands, tap down any little points. So basically what they're telling you to do is like round these out and make them flat. Not necessarily like flat, but give them a little bit of a tap down. Give them a little tap down. Okay, these look great. I'm also not doing these on parchment. It said to do them on parchment. I'm not, so I hope that they turn out okay. If I recall, I did them on the silicone mat last year and they turned out fine. So I don't see why I couldn't do that this time around. While I'm letting these bake, I am going to take care of this stock because these need to bake for 10 minutes and then 15 minutes. That's 25 minutes. That means that these should be out of the oven at exactly 14:31 if I get them in the next couple seconds here, which is perfect. That's like enough time for them to cool for a little bit and then eat one. Okay, sprinkle them with sugar. That was the other direction. I do not need to get the sugar back out. We're just going to sprinkle them with some sugar, which is the same sugar just from the little coffee canister. And I am not going to worry about any sugar that gets on the tray next to these because they're going to spread and then that sugar will just be on the bottom of them. Okay, those look good. 2 pastries ready to go in. They probably suggest them because not everyone has Silpats. That is probably very true. Timer. Time. We need the time. Let's time these. 10 minutes. Decrease oven temperature to 350 and cook farther. Okay, 10 minutes. Oven is currently set at 445 degrees. It says to cook them at 425, but I always... Oh, phone died. Okay. I was like, why isn't the phone on? Well, because it's dead. That's fine. Okay, let's get this stock finished. Package. Actually, let me get these sheet pans off of my counter here real quick. I've got stuff from the stuff that just needed to get put away. Out on the counter. Let's actually put that away. I have a whole pile of kitchen towels in various states of dirty or not. So we're gonna also toss those on the wash pile. This is finished and can go over to the sink. And now we can strain our stock. So stock has been cooking for how long? It's about 2 hours now, maybe something like that. Long enough that my house is very humid. The house is humid and warm, and it smells phenomenal. So let's get the stock over here. And first thing that we're going to do is take all of the solids out of it and put them in the compost. So I'm going to use the spider. Use the spider to pull all of those out. Most of them are going to be, most of them will be pretty broken down, but the corn cobs will be still pretty solid. Get in there. All right. Yeah, muggy deliciousness. Muggy indeed. It is. My house is hot right now, like hot. The oven is on and the stove was on, and I just had like steam coming out. So we've got... You'll note that I'm not wearing a sweatshirt during stream today. I'm usually wearing some level of like hooded sweatshirt, or at least I have been recently. Not doing that now. So all of these are just like the solid pieces. Again, lots of corn cobs in this one. I'm kind of giving them a press with the back of this wooden spoon to get any of that like liquid out of there. This is sort of like serving spaghetti here. I've got some chives coming through. Killer Cree, welcome in. Hello. Good day. Happy Wednesday. The shirt will take care of the sweat part. Yes, I am definitely going to be sweating. I have to pick up Calvin in a little bit here. And I'm not looking forward to it. I was trying to secretly figure out what you were putting on a cookie sheet. I am making a shoe pastry. So if you put strawberries and whipped cream on it, it will look something like that. Ideally. No promises, but that's the intention. Those are in the oven now. Those are the last oven thing that's happening today. We did a corn salad earlier, a small corn salad. I made some pesto earlier in stream. And now I'm making stock. I'm processing the stock. So the stock is made. I just need to get to the liquid without all these solids in the way. But we're taking our time and draining this as the oven does its work with the pastries. It smells good. Man, look at the steam coming off of this. This is ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. It is hot. I said it is hot in this house right now. The air conditioner's not on either. It's just The air is very still and warm. I'd love to turn the air conditioner on, but it's in a different room. I could turn it on from my phone. Maybe I should do that. I don't know what the temperature is outside, but it is also very hot outside today. It is sweltering. We're hitting that summer Philly, the city heat. That like radiant heat in a city. If you've ever traveled to if you're not from the city and you travel to a city, especially during the summer, you probably will notice that it's a lot hotter here. 83 or 84 by me. Okay. That is 29 degrees Celsius. Roughly. Which is an easy temperature to remember because 82 is one of those numbers that is the same in Celsius. So 82 is 28. Fun fact. It does smell heavenly. It very much does. I love making stock because in the days after, whenever I open the compost bucket, it smells wonderful. It's like perfect. Okay, now this all is compost, and we're gonna put that in the compost bin. Am I have any? There's a little. Hold on. Watch as I fuck this up royally. There's a little bit of oh, nope, we're not gonna do that. We'll say there's just a little touch of liquid in the bottom of that, but it's not enough. It's not enough that I'm gonna go after it for the sake of all of these other things. Okay. And now it's steam coming from the floor over here. I just dumped all that hot stuff in the compost bucket and it looks like my fucking floor is on fire. Ceiling fans. Yeah, I'd love a ceiling fan in this room. We have ceiling fans in some rooms, but not this one. Liz, yeah, and y'all have the sun for even later, which is really, really nice. 21, but the sun is blocked by smoke. Oh god, yeah, the wildfires. It's yeah, there's definitely that happening. Yeah, the floor is hot, very hot right now. You know what I need? Actually, can I do this? Yeah. I need to like give this a little press so I can put the lid back on. Perfect. I'm just gonna take a bowl out of the sink and like press this with the bottom of the bowl. Perfect. Good. It was coming over the top of the compost bin and like, that's not good. We don't want that. And let me get the little couple pea pod pieces that spilled out over the side. This has been a big, this has been a pretty big vegetable week. I feel like I haven't, I used a bunch of stuff. See, I cooked on Monday too, but I didn't stream it. Like, did it really happen? Who knows? It did, but I used a bunch of vegetables up on Monday. I used a bunch yesterday for dinner, and then today we were really kind of blowing through like a lot of the rest of these. So compost bin is exceedingly full at the moment. So I'm just going to dump this into the strainer now, my conical strainer. Get the last of the debris out of here. So I don't take my stock and like refine it in any way. This is it. Like this is done. Like I'm going to package it right from here. I don't strain it any farther than like just pulling out the solids and then straining it once with the strainer. Because I don't need it to be clear. I'm not using it again for like a recipe or anything specific. If I was making stock for a specific recipe that, I wanted it to be clear for, I would, but I'm not. Okay, 10-minute timer just went off. Decrease oven temperature to 350 and continue to bake 15 minutes longer. Okay, I have turned my timer. I turned a 15-minute timer on. These pastries are looking good. They're round. They've expanded quite a bit, so they're looking pretty solid. Looking as I expect them to, I think is how I would put that. Everything's going as planned in this moment. So let's get this stock packaged up. I'm gonna freeze this basically right away. I'm not gonna freeze it. I'm not putting it in the freezer right now, but I am gonna freeze it. So I do want to have a space in the fridge for it. So let me do a little fridge Jenga here with some of the stuff, leftovers that are in here. Just so I have some space for this. Okay, perfect. Perfect. All right. I'm gonna package this. I'm gonna put this in. You know, hold on. I think this is the part where I spill all of this and get really upset with myself. Maybe. We'll see. Possibly not. We'll see if I have the control to make this happen. It should pour pretty easily out of this pot. It's designed to pour things out of. Nah. The ladle will be better. I'm spilling this all over the counter. There's like a tablespoon or two of it just all over the counter now. We don't want that. I just don't want to waste all of it. Robbie does the fridge Jenga. I can't find anything that isn't in a drawer. Does he touch the drawers during the Jenga time? I constantly move stuff around in the fridge. It's all very fluid day to day. I know what my family looks for in the fridge, right? So I do try to put the things that I am pretty sure they're going to be looking for, like close at hand, or at least put them in the same spot regularly, you know? Usually I do my fridge reorganization right before stream. So most of the time, that's one of the things that because I think about what I'm doing on stream that day, and usually I'm like, oh, I am making this thing, it's going to need to go in the refrigerator, so like, do I have space in my fridge, yes or no? Like that, I try to make that calculation before stream most of the time. But sometimes I don't. I should say I make that calculation and then adjustment. I try to like adjust. Okay, I'm gonna take this stock, I put it on a towel, and we're just gonna slide over here. Okay. More stock. What's their fave? Well, I think it depends. When I say like the things that they're looking for, I mean like the coffee creamer, the ginger ale, the shaky cheese, like your store brand cellulose primary Parmesan cheese, shaky cheese. That definitely needs to be findable. The tablecloth trick baker. Oh my God, there would just be all that would just be on the floor. That would be incredible. Yeah, for my next trick, I am going to stand here and cry for a few moments and then end stream. That's what would happen. If I spilled all that over the floor, I would just be like, you know what? We're done today. I need a moment. So we're not going to do that. We're going to avoid. It was tempting. It was tempting. Okay, now I'm just going to do a little top off of all these because I have a little bit left in here. I don't think it's like too much. Nope, that needs its own little container. Damn it. Hate when that happens. Daisy to the rescue. Daisy would be pretty functionally useless in that scenario, I'm sure. I don't even know where she is today. I knew where she was earlier. She was up in Calvin's room. I had mentioned like hearing her jump off the chair, but she jumped off the chair, meaning she's not there anymore. So I don't know where she is this moment. She's around somewhere. Okay. All of these are just going to sit here. Like, I'm not going to put these in the fridge just yet. I'll let these cool off a little bit on their own. We'll pop those in the fridge right at the end of stream. I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 lids. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lids. Perfect. All right, I'm making sure each of these has a lid. You know what I didn't do? I didn't taste these. I didn't like give this a try. At any point, I didn't try this stock at all. Does it need more salt? Does it need anything else? Who knows? But for the sake of knowing what I have, let's go ahead and try a little bit of that. And then I'm going to move this over here. We'll move these back off the edge just a little bit. Daisy will have no interest in getting these, but just so that they're not at the edge of the counter. I say she'll have no interest in getting them, but that doesn't mean that she won't try. They don't smell like meat, though. If it was chicken stock, I might be a little sus of her being around that, but I don't think it will. Okay. Yeah, wonder how these are all quart and pint takeout containers from like various takeout spots near me. We get takeout from a very few number of places, and I know the ones with the good containers, so I save those. I'm glad I saw the note in this recipe that says it's important not to open the oven door at any point during this time. You need all that trapped heat and steam to create light as air shoe cakes. I looked at them earlier and I was going to open the door and I decided not to. I was like, I don't actually need to open this. I can see them from out here. No problem. So I didn't. And now they are puffed. They're big. They're quite nice in there. They have 6 minutes left on the clock. What does it say? Okay, next direction. Crack the oven door and look at the shoe cakes. If they're still pale, continue to bake 2 to 5 minutes more. Transfer to a wire rack. Immediately poke a small hole into the bottom of each shoe cake with a skewer, chopstick, or paring knife to let the steam escape. Let cool, right side up. To serve, gently slice in half through the equator and arrange the bottom halves on plates. Spoon the strawberries with juices over each cake. Serve with whipped cream. Cool. Easy enough. All right, so we do need a wire rack to put these on. I got overzealous and I put the rack away before I actually needed to put it away, so we'll get it back out again. Alrighty. What is next here? I think we're just waiting for these cakes. My stock is finished, my pesto is finished, my corn salad is finished, and these little snackies are almost there. So we're going to take a quick words on stream break. We have Twitch is telling me it's just about that time. It's also an hour since the last time we did that. So we're going to take a quick break for words on stream. I'm going to, what am I going to do? I'm going to process the dishes that are in the sink over here because there's a lot of them. Don't believe me? Ask the dishes. There's a lot of them. They can sing, they can dance. So we're going to take a quick break. I am going to do these dishes. Or do something with these dishes. Maybe we can put the dish cam on. Maybe we can put the dish cam on while we're doing words. But anyway, there's 4 minutes left on that shoe pastry in the oven. So let's take our break. Let's take our break now so that we have no interruptions for the extraction from the oven. Here comes a game of words on stream. I'm going to play 2 of those. We're going to run 3 minutes worth of ads on Twitch. If you don't like ads, you can listen to the stream on YouTube. There's a link to that maybe in chat. No, there's not. It's not going to work. Okay, here comes a 3-minute ad. And yeah, there is a link to it in chat.
Hi.
There
Welcome
it
to
is.
another edition
All right,
of
we'll be right
Commercials
back.
I hate.
Wait, dish cam. I said dish cam. There it is. Okay. There's a dish pit going over here. Now, most of this can go into the dishwasher. Or some of this can go in. These huge pots will not be going in the dishwasher, but the rest of it, just load that shit right up. Yeah, the cakes seem like they're pretty easy to make. They don't seem like that. They are pretty easy to make. Again, I made them last year, and I haven't made them since. But I remembered them being really easy, and I'm glad because my memory was accurate. And in the oven right now, they seem to be cooking along real well, so I hope they taste good too. I believe it. Lots of dish in this moment, but otherwise, a lot of big dishes today. We used a lot of we used the biggest pot that I have. Any day that I use the largest pot that I have, it's highly likely that we have pots. Whoop. All right. Room for one more? Yes, indeed. Belly flops, welcome in. As you are a subscriber, I know that you can hear me. So welcome. Beautiful. The sink is once again empty of dishes. They're not clean, they're in the dish drain. They're in the dish rack, or in the dish pan. But all the ones that go in the dishwasher are in the dishwasher, so that's always the goal. Just a few hand-washed dishes at the end. Or during stream. Anyway, welcome back. If you're on Twitch, thank you for your patience. I appreciate it. You're finished your ad break now, and we're back. We're finishing a game of words on stream. I'm finishing my dish triage in this moment, and we will be back in just a second to get our choux pastry out of the oven. There's choux, C-H-O-U-X pastry in the oven. Alrighty, get your last guesses in. If you have guesses, now's the time because The time is almost up. The time is almost up. Dee. Very nice. Very close. And look at that. Or don't look. Listen. Can you hear that? That's the timer going off. That means we need to check these pastries in the oven. Let's do that. You want to do that together? Can we check the pastries in the oven together? Maybe? Oh, I need to turn the camera on if I want to do that. There we go. Okay. Well, there they are. They look nice. I think those are done. It said that they should be golden brown. Those look golden brown to me. So I think we're finished. Golden brown, texture like sun, to my mind. All right. It also says to pop a hole, or to put a hole in the bottom of these, bottom of each of these. So let's do that. A steam hole. And then it says let them cool right side up. So you poke a hole and then you flip them back over. Right? Let cool right side up. Okay. So we poke the hole. Are we supposed to like let them evaporate for a moment? Like, I don't get it, but whatever. Joe, I know that song. Yes, it's the Stranglers. The band is called the Stranglers, and it is the song Golden Brown, and that is the exact place that I know it from too. It was on a play. I remember putting that on a playlist when I had to download it from the internet. It was on a playlist that I made years ago from a CDR. That's a recordable CD for those of y'all who are unfamiliar. Okay. Let cool, right side up. Great. Meanwhile, make whipped cream. We're not going to make homemade whipped cream today. I'm sorry. I'm not actually that sorry. It's more work, and I have, in the spirit of using it up, I have a bit of this whipped cream left. And so with these, we are making cream puff, strawberry, macerated strawberry whipped cream. Whoa, poke the hole in the side. That makes sense. It said in this one, it said immediately poke a small hole in the bottom of each shoe cake with a skewer. So I followed that direction. Baker, exactly. We're using it up. Like I'm just going to use up this whipped cream. Now, to be fair, Calvin, my son, would also be very happy to use up this whipped cream. Now, when he comes home from school later, if he wants one of these and I've used up the whipped cream, I will make some whipped cream for him because it's not hard. I just do it in the mixer, and it would be easy to it's always easy to do. It lasts for like a day in the fridge, so it doesn't last all that long. And right now I am not gonna make that because it's a lot of it's extra effort that I don't want to do just for myself to have a bit of it. I'd rather make it later when like he can have some, and then Gwen will have some, and then, you know, it'll get used better. I'd rather make it later and have it eaten right then than make it right now and have it be sort of like watery again and like not get the benefit of having it be good. Anyway, that was a lot to say. I'm just going to use this fucking bottle of whipped cream. Sorry. All right, let's get one of these on a plate though. I feel like they're not cool, but like they're cool enough. Like I'm just gonna eat it, so it's not like it's it doesn't need to cool any farther than that for me to enjoy it, I think is how I'm looking at it. So yeah, whipped cream TED Talk. Welcome to the whipped cream TED Talk. Calvin will want whipped cream on this later, so I'm going to have to make it later. But I just like, I don't want to, I want it to be fresh, because with these things, like when you make them, when you make fresh whipped cream, it's real good, and then it's sort of like it starts to break down after like an hour of leaving it in the fridge because it's fresh. It doesn't have any of the monodiglycerides, carrageenan, dextrose, and nitrous oxide. Actually, the nitrous oxide is not that, but I'm imagining that the carrageenan dextrose is something of a stabilizer in here, which is what keeps it like whipped and nice. I don't know, I never heard of it. Y'all keep any carrageenan dextrose in your cabinet? I don't. I mean, maybe I do. I don't know. Does it go by a different name? Carrageenan. Yes, the N-E-E-N, Baker. Yeah. Yeah, the nitrous oxide is the propellant. I only know that because of the Fast and the Furious. So, you know, got that NOS. Cut one of these in half. That emulsifies and binds. Yeah, see? Inside is looking all right. Oh, that's the top. This is the bottom. So he's definitely just puffed up and spread a ton. Love it. Love it. I have some in my pocket right now. Oh yeah, let me just like get the vial of it out, you know? I was a chemie major and I was a chemist by trade. Super. So then you probably do know what I'm talking about. I just looked at the ingredients and was like, that's the only one in there that I know. And I know that dextrose is always used to like bind things together. Like dextrose is the same thing that gets used in Parmesan, this Parmesan, right? Oh, cellulose. Nope, sorry. We got dextrose, we got cellulose. It's one of the oses. I know that the oses are always used to like keep shit together. Okay. These look great. We're ready to make a little snack here. Man, my stomach is going hard right now. It is rumbling. Very rumbly. So a little bit of juice on that too, because the juice is basically just sugar water. Anything that ends in ose is a sugar. If it ends in ace, it's an enzyme. There you go. We need the rainbow. The more you know. I just need it. I need it because multiple times a stream, I feel informed about things that I am legitimately uninformed about in my life in general. There we go. All right. Looking good. We're going to add some more strawberries to that because you can't see them. And you got to be able to see them. I want to take a picture of this shit. I'm going to take a picture of this at the sink because there's better light there. So like, give me like 15 to 20 some seconds here while I do that. And then we'll be back. Picture. Snap, snap, snap. Oh shit, hold on. I didn't wipe the lens on my camera. I'm always griping at other people for their potato photos. And this one, I'm like looking at it, I'm like, what's wrong with that? Why does it look like that? I'm like, oh wait, because there's a thin film of grease from my fingers over the top of it. Right, got it. Here's what we made today. Food's on the camera. Come take a look. This is a choux pastry, along with some macerated strawberries and home sprayed whipped cream. We also made a large volume of vegetable stock today. We made a corn salad, basic corn salad, corn, Parmesan, basil, olive oil, shallot. And we also made some pesto, basil, garlic scape pesto. Basil, pistachio, garlic scapes are the main ingredients in this. So overall, this is what we've done on stream today. Here's the lineup. Wait, hold on. Is this in order? Oh, that's so weird to me. Because this is how oh, weird. Okay, anyway, it's fine. Just, you don't need to put them in order. God damn, Louis, what are you doing? Mistress, the way I would absolutely inhale that dessert. I am about to. So apologies for what you're about to witness. Text, welcome in. Good to have you. Yeah, this is good. We did a bunch on stream today. I was trying to, Liz, what I was trying to do, and which I'm going to do now, was arrange them in the order that they were completed in. Right? So we started with the corn, then the pesto.
The imaginations of my mind are an enigma.
Still, and remain. And the stock. But I looked on the screen and realized that it's inverse, and if I wanted them to go from left to right on the screen, I'd have to go from right to left in my real, like, this is my right. This is right. This is my right hand. Anyway. Let's eat the strawberry thing, okay? Mix, welcome. There we go. It looks the opposite. Yeah, exactly. And that was, my brain broke when I looked at it. And I know that the camera's inverse, right? Anyway, things were made. Things were made. Hey, camera. Focus. There we go. Well, let's give this a try. It certainly looks good. Holy shit. I'll be right with you. About to be an 18 plus stream over here. Oh my god. This is really good. I love these pastries. It's really light. Like, the base doesn't taste like a whole lot. I mean, it does. But this is such a classic combination. Like pastry, whipped cream, and strawberries. I remember when I was a kid, we always had like the whipped cream and then regular strawberries, and then there's little angel food cake cups. But I never did anything with the strawberries, like macerate them. These were combined with sugar and a little bit of salt and lemon juice, and so the strawberries here are very good too. Very sweet. Mm-hmm. Oh my. Sometimes you make something and it's just like delicious. And you just want to keep, you're like, why don't I make this more often? I'm like, right, because I make it during strawberry season, which is not all year. Man, this one's a good one. I like these. They're funny. These look like Kaiser rolls. Like, that looks like a Kaiser roll to me. It's not, but it is. You could make it with any fruit. That's true. And the recipe even says, like, use whatever you want. Good summer recipe though. Like, it is meant for strawberries, truly. Wow. Well, that was good. I could eat all of these. Like, no word of a lie. I could eat all of these right now. I'm not going to. I don't really want to, but I know in my heart that I could. And I think that's what counts. Oh my God. I'm hungry. Hi, hungry. What's there to eat? Food. What kind of food? Edible food. What kind of edible food? Edible food you can eat. I'm hungry. Hi, hungry. Rinse and repeat. Calvin would say mean things to me. He would say very mean things to me after the first iteration of that. Once we loop back to the top, he would definitely say mean things. Oh God. I consider how he's growing up and juxtapose that with like what I was allowed to do and say in my own house growing up, and he is not having the same experience. Mention each other. Oh, wild. Did we? Well, I'm about to raid. Is Lemon still on? That would make things a lot easier. Or let's see who's on in food and drink. Let's see who's cooking. Who else is cooking today? I keep following all these new chess streamers, and so like all of my suggested streams are like chess related now. Which is kind of funny. Oh, she's doing okay. Yeah, she's on the just starting screen still. We see. Okay. Let's see. You know who we haven't rated in a really long time? And I love A Recipe Reborn, and I would absolutely encourage anybody to follow A Recipe Reborn. Let me rephrase that. I would encourage everybody, not anybody, everybody, to follow A Recipe Reborn. But I think I'd like to raid a new to us. We're going to raid someone new today. We haven't raided before, who's not new necessarily. Anyway, we're going to raid Chef Nova. Chef Nova was in chat earlier and is... were they in chat earlier? Chef Nova is one of the food and drink stream club folks who has been pretty active there, and is live currently. Maybe? Yes. Okay, so we are going to raid Chef Nova. Chef Nova has been live for 6 hours. Holy crap. Twindrella, I think that is the rule, right? You want your kid's childhood to be a little bit different and maybe better as you see it than yours was. That is how it goes. Okay. Thank you all for hanging out today. I absolutely appreciate the company. We are going to raid Chef Nova. Chef Nova knows nothing. Chef Nova is actually a chef. I believe that Chef Nova made their screen name Knows Nothing out of a sense of humility and not out of a sense of actual ignorance. So we're going to raid. We're going to raid Chef Nova Knows Nothing. I'm going to start that raid now. There's some chat messages in raid messages in chat. Here are a few places to find me elsewhere on the internet, social media situations. Now, I realize that we don't have a schedule next week, so the calendar currently is empty. I do want to tell you that I will be streaming next week. I will be streaming twice next week. We will be doing probably 2 longer streams. I'm hoping to do some cooking streams. I don't know what that's going to be. Summer starts for our household next week, so we're changing a lot of our schedule around. Bear with me. We're going to try to do 2 a week. If you are hanging out and lurking today, I appreciate you. Know that you are always welcome to lurk. Nobody ever needs to chat. If you're hanging out and you're not following currently, the follow button is somewhere down here and there are no alerts. Feel free to hit the follow button. I will not say hi to you. I won't say anything, but you'll get to remember to come back. And if I don't see you in chat sometime before then. I hope y'all have a really lovely weekend. I know it's only Wednesday, but like, anyway, the next time we'll be live will be next week sometime. Unless we get one in over the weekend, I don't know. It's always impromptu. Follow in Discord for more. And if I don't see you, I'll see you in chat. Bye.
Make it. Has to be important.
Where's the lamb sauce? Where's the lamb sauce? Where's the lamb?